This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hey y'all, I'm glad y'all are here with me this here day. Sorry, I'm trying to record some of these videos I got of Stephan Sterns driving around. I tried to open them up on my computer and it wouldn't let me, so I'm having to screen record them and I'm going to upload that recording and we're going to look at some of them. I'm so glad y'all are here today. Let me shout y'all out. Also need to grab my pen. Oh my goodness, Abellis. Thank you for gifting 20 memberships. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. And then Chow gifted 5 and Abellis gifted 20. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so very much for that. I can't see who they went to because I'm using my phone to screen record right now, but let me grab the crazy train. If you were gifted from Chow and you are aware you were gifted, please tell Chow thank you. Thank you so much, Chow. That was so sweet of you. Let me grab the crazy train to pick y'all up on the way to Speculation Station. I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. Thank you so very much, Chow. And then Abellis gifted 20. Holy crap. Thank you, Abellis. That is a lot. I really appreciate that. You're so sweet. Thank you so very much. If you were gifted from Abellis and you are aware you were gifted, please tell Abellis thank you. Thank you so much, Abellis. And I will grab the Polar Express to pick y'all up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. That was so sweet of y'all. Let me shout y'all out. Hold on. I think we're this one. Okay. I'm so glad y'all are here with me today. I see Vicky the Leo, Vera, Rosalie, Abellis, Tom, Hannah UK. Good to see you, Jay the Italian Cookie. Good to see you, Miss Sarah, Dainty Dane, Shiz, Snarky Pants, good to see you. Cara, good to see you. Dandy Lioness is here. Chow is here. Good to see you. I'm glad y'all are here today. Amy, Kelly, good to see you. Connie, good to see you. Or Connie's sister. Scrolling. Cindy from sunny South Florida, good to see you. Monica's here. Good to see you. Scrolling. Jenny Jen, good to see you. Southern Cats, good to see you. I don't know if I said you yet. Mark, good to see you. Miss King of Anything, good to see you. I'm so glad y'all are here with me this here day. All right, Cracker Jacks, good to see you. Drama must remain on the stage, good to see you. Anybody else? Wow, good to see you. Thank you for saying thank you for the memberships. I need to get y'all some more videos out on the memberships, don't I? All right, so we're going to start with Austin Drummond. Austin Drummond had his first court appearance today, and they were actually streaming it, and I couldn't go live with it at the time because I was in the process of milking the goats. So we're going to look at that. No, I hate when it does that.
Turn around and
Hold on. We're going to look at his court appearance and see how that went. We'll wait till they get him on stage. On stage, on camera, I meant. All right. And that'll give me a second to keep recording these videos for us.
It's alleged during the course of investigation that a James Wilson was located deceased from apparent gunshot wounds in Lake County, Tennessee on Carrington Road.
God, I can't hear it.
It was determined that due to premeditation, knowing knowingly and intentionally killed Mr. Wilson with use of a firearm. It's also alleged, based on the same facts or circumstances, that you are a convicted felon out of Madison County. In addition to that, sir, you also have one count of first-degree murder and unlawful possession of a weapon. It's alleged
Hey,
that
Soups.
during the course of investigation, officers determined that Mr. Drummond, with premeditation, knowingly and intentionally killed Miss Adriana Williams in Lake County, Tennessee, on Carrington Road. She was discovered from an apparent gunshot wound, deceased.
So
That he also
it sounds like that they did die of a gunshot wound, as we thought, which again goes with the charge of felon in possession of a dangerous felon in possession of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. I think I'm probably going to stop recording after this one because they're like little 1-minute clip videos that we have of Stephan driving around in the car. We might just go over Plunder's video until I can get these all recorded and put them on a video for y'all later. Because, like, when I pulled it up, when I downloaded those videos from her Patreon, it worked on my phone, so I figured it would on my computer. Well, I was unfortunately mistaken. Anyway, let's get back to him. It sounds like they did die of gunshot wounds, which is really sad. Again, we've talked about what I think the motive was. I think that they were all down there possibly delivering substances to the prison yard and something went awry. I don't know what, but it's just really sad. Anders, good to see you. Kimmy C, 123, good to see you. I just really like its smile. Jay said if they put something on his head, he could be from that movie by Tim Burton. Oh, yeah, he does look like that. I was watching. Oh, yeah. Hey, Shaker Maker. He looks defeated. He really does.
is a convicted felon out of Madison County, Tennessee. You also, sir, have one count of first-degree murder and an additional unlawful possession of a weapon. It's alleged during the course of the investigation, officers determined that you did with premeditation, knowingly, intentionally kill Miss Courtney Rose with the use of a firearm. She was discovered deceased from apparent gunshot wounds on Carrington Road in Lake County, Tennessee. It's alleged, in addition to that, sir, as I previously stated, you are a convicted felon allegedly from the county of Madison in Tennessee. Chester, we have the other charge I want to have. I don't have anything to get that.
He took a deep breath in because he knew he ain't getting out. He looks very much aged. He does not look like a 28-year-old at all here. I mean, I think the gravity of the situation has finally hit him, and he's realized that he ain't never getting out. Yeah, it's a Zoom. Hey, Christina.
In addition to that, finally, he has one count of aggravated kidnapping and a possession of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. It's alleged that all of the victims in the count in the case that previously were mentioned were located deceased from apparent gunshot wounds on the same date. A minor child with the date of birth 12/12/2024 with the initials WW was discovered left in the front of a residence in Dyer County, Tennessee. States that Mr. Drummond committed the offense of aggravated kidnapping by false imprisonment, which was committed to facilitate the commission of a felony or flight. It's alleged he committed this offense also possessing a firearm during the commission of said dangerous felony when he possessed a firearm. He therefore had.
Okay, wait a minute. They're telling us how everything went down. So the aggravated kidnapping was that somebody tried to escape when he was shooting them. I'm assuming, I'm going to take it back, but it sounds like somebody tried to run, flee, or escape when he was committing the felonies of homicide, and he made it to where they couldn't. It wasn't to do with Wesleyan Wilson. I'm going to back it up just a little bit so we can hear those charges again. Okay, hold on. And it's premeditated. All right. I'm going to listen to that again because it's very, very important. I can't boost, I don't know how to boost the sound. That's why I put up the closed captions. I'm going to read it to you though. I'll start it over again. Okay. I'm going to tell you what it says.
It's alleged during the course of investigation that James Wilson
It's alleged during the course of the investigation that a James Wilson
was located deceased from apparent gunshot wounds in Lake County, Tennessee
was located deceased from apparent gunshot wounds in Lake County, Tennessee
Carrington Road.
on Carrington Road.
Determined that you with premeditation knowingly and intentionally killed Mr. Wilson with the use of a firearm.
It was determined that he premeditated, knowingly and intentionally shot Mr. Wilson with the use of the firearm.
It's also alleged, based on the same facts or circumstances, that you are a convicted felon out of Madison County.
It's also, he's a convicted felon out of Madison County. Mr. Austin Drummond is a convicted felon out of Madison County.
In addition to that, sir, you also have one count of first-degree murder.
In addition to that, he has a count of first-degree homicide,
Unlawful possession of a weapon,
unlawful possession of a firearm.
It's alleged that you, during the course of investigation,
It's alleged that you, during the course of the investigation,
officers determined that Mr. Drummond, with premeditation,
officers determined that Mr. Drummond, with premeditation, knowingly,
and intentionally killed Miss Adriana Williams.
Okay, with premeditation, knowingly and intentionally killed Miss Adriana Williams. So the homicides were premeditated. He went out there and he knew what he was going to do.
In Lake County, Tennessee, on Carrington Road.
On Carrington Road. I'm wondering, see, it sounded like it was a hit. It sounds like he got them all out there for the intention of committing the homicides. Did they order a hit?
She was discovered from an apparent gunshot wound, deceased. In addition to that, he also is a convicted felon out of Madison County, Tennessee.
So, you know, she was discovered with a gunshot wound, deceased. In addition to that, Austin is a convicted felon out of Madison County, Tennessee.
You also, sir, have one count of first-degree murder and additional unlawful possession of a weapon.
He has another count of first-degree homicide and unlawful possession of a weapon.
It's alleged during the course of the investigation, officers determined that you did with premeditation.
It's alleged during the course of the investigation that officers determined that he did, with premeditation,
knowingly and intentionally killed Miss Courtney Rose
with the use of a firearm.
Deceased from apparent gunshot wounds on Carrington Road in Lake County, Tennessee.
She was discovered deceased from gunshot wounds, plural, on Carrington Road in Lake County, Tennessee.
It's alleged, in addition to that, sir, as previously stated, you are a convicted
And
felon.
he's a convicted felon out of Madison County. They said Braden too, I'm assuming. Let me see what y'all are saying. I hear Wilson and I think of the Tom Hanks. Or he did the hit because rumors Caitlin and him had split and he didn't hurt, and he did it to hurt her, in my speculation. Maybe. What's with the ex-girlfriend that was the guard? What's she doing right now? Nobody knows, but allegedly she's 4 months pregnant with this child, and we've seen the maternity photos that they did.
Sorry about that, Mr. Drummond. In addition to that, finally, he has one count.
Okay, he apologized, and he said, in addition to that, finally, he has one count
of aggravated kidnapping.
Of aggravated kidnapping. Now, I thought this was for Westland, the baby, because he took the baby and he dropped the baby off in somebody's front yard. but I think I might be wrong.
And a possession of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony.
And a possession of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony.
It's alleged that all of the victims in the count in the case that previously were mentioned.
It's alleged that all the victims in the case that were previously mentioned, all of our homicide victims,
located deceased from apparent gunshot wounds.
Were located deceased from apparent gunshot wounds.
On the same date, a minor child with the date of birth.
On the same date that a minor child with the date of birth
12/12/2024.
12/12/2024.
With the initials WW.
With the initials WW Westland Wilson.
Was discovered left in the front of a residence in Dyer County, Tennessee.
Was discovered left in front of the residence in Dyer County, Tennessee.
States that Mr. Drummond committed the offense of aggravated kidnapping by false imprisonment.
Okay, he committed the offense of aggravated kidnapping by false imprisonment, which
was committed to facilitate the commission of a felony or flight.
Which was committed to facilitate the commission of a felony or flight.
It's alleged he committed this offense also possessing a firearm during the commission of said dangerous felony.
It said that he committed this offense during the commission of said dangerous felony.
When he possessed a firearm.
When he possessed a firearm.
He therefore has those counts.
He therefore has those counts. So I guess the aggravated kidnapping was the baby and I wasn't wrong. Okay. I'm sorry, Vicky. I don't use PayPal or anything. I don't have any of that stuff. I'm sorry. Plunder said he was pissed at the family for negative things about him online. Interesting. I'd like to know where she got that. No, she's an idiot. Grieving. Probably. Yeah, she was the sister of the grandmother and aunt of 3 of the victims. She was. Caitlin.
General Goodman, is the state moving forward with felony charges in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
So the state is moving forward with felony charges. Oh, Lordy Jesus. Hold on. My damn feed decided to go stupid. All right, hold on. I can't hear that.
When he possessed a firearm, he therefore has those counts. General Goodman, is the state moving forward with felony charges in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Drummond, I'm going to enter a not guilty plea for you at this time on your behalf, being that you do not have counsel appointed or retained to represent you. Are you going to be able to hire an attorney, sir?
So they're entering a not guilty plea because he doesn't have anybody to represent him, and they're asking him, is he going to hire an attorney?
To represent you, or will you need me to ask you questions about your finances to appoint you an attorney?
I'm not going to be able to hire an attorney.
Okay. Sir, if you could, to the best of your ability, please.
So the judge asked, are you going to be able to hire an attorney, or do you need me to ask you questions about your finances so we can figure out basically if you need a public defender? And he said, I'm not going to be able to hire my own attorney.
Raise your right hand for me.
Raise your right
Do you
hand.
swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is true, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You put your hand down, sir. Mr. Drummond, prior to being taken in on these charges, sir, were you working anywhere?
I have a business, settled run business, kids parties,
He said I had a business, a something business. I couldn't catch that. I'm going to try that again.
Prior to being taken in on these charges, sir, were you working anywhere?
I have a business, settled run business, kids parties,
So you were self-employed, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't understand what he said he was doing for a business. I mean, yeah, he probably did have a business selling dope, if I had to guess.
This is what I'm going to ask you, sir. Obviously, that may vary depending on how much business you generate monthly. If you could estimate for me what your monthly income would be from that business.
I think he said it varied, but sometimes it was around $6,000.
Um,
Excuse me, a lot of it, I was just starting up, a lot of the money just went right back in.
He said, "Excuse me, I was just starting up. A lot of the money went right back into it."
Investing in
when
the
did
right.
when did you start the business, sir?
I started LLC in February.
I started the LLC in February,
I believe I started operations just a month or two ago.
Just a month or
and I started operations just a month or two ago.
two ago. Okay. Sir, let me ask you: do you own a home? Do you own a vehicle?
See,
I'm sorry.
I do, it's cities right now.
Okay. He
Okay, so he doesn't own a home. He does own a vehicle, but it was seized.
tell me the make and model of the vehicle, sir.
And county day for
Okay. You recall how much you
The white Audi.
paid for that vehicle?
$12,000.
Okay. Are you
He paid $12,000 for the white Audi. Hey, curious. Rosalie said, "Is this the man that off the four victims?" Yes. I've got some people that are going to talk about that. The district attorney actually is going to talk about how he was able to get out on bond on a charge of attempted homicide. Yeah, I do believe that was his business. Hey, Piola's mom. I think he got out on bond in February. He got out in September, and then at some point he went back, and then we saw the paperwork from X yesterday that said his mom bonded him out on a $75,000 bond in February.
you still are you making payments on the vehicle?
No, sir.
Are you making payments on the vehicle? No.
Do you have a checking or savings account, sir?
Yes.
You know roughly at this
He has a checking or savings account? That's mind blowing.
moment how much is in that checking or savings account?
$500.
He's got $500.
General, I think due to the sort of the uncertainty of his business, I think that based on that and the fact he doesn't own much personal property, I think he does qualify as indigent for appointment to counsel. I have reached out previously to Mr. Brian Huffman out of Covington, and he's told me he is willing to take the appointment in this case. So what I'm going
So he is indigent, but the judge just said, "I've reached out personally hold on. The judge has reached out personally and asked somebody personally to handle this case, which is not good. That's a huge conflict of interest."
the uncertainty of his business, I think that based on that and the fact he doesn't own much personal property, I think he does qualify as indigent
So the uncertainty of the business, and he doesn't own much personal property. He is indigent.
for appointment to counsel. I have reached out previously to Mr. Brian Huffman out of Covington.
I've reached out previously to Mr. Brian Huffman out of Covington. Why are we reaching out personally to people to represent him? That's a huge conflict of interest. I mean, that'll win an appeal right there. All we got to do is go back to this hearing and hear the judge say, "I've reached out personally and asked somebody to appoint him in court." That's not good. Hannah said, "Everyone, please remember premeditated means that you had time to think before committing the act. It doesn't mean he planned for longer than a couple seconds to minutes before he acted." Thank you for that. I don't know. It sounds messed up to me. The judge assigned a public defender, right? But like he said, he reached out personally to somebody. I've reached out personally to Mr. Brian Huffman out of Covington. Brenda, good to see you. Or he said previously, but like he reached out to him. I mean, I don't know. It sounds weird to me. I don't like it.
And he's told me he's willing to take the appointment in this case. So what
So because I mean, this is his first time coming to court. Like you've already got his defender set up and ready? Like, that's something that usually happens right in the middle of court. They look at a paper and they say, okay, you'll have this public defender, not somebody you've reached out to beforehand. Y'all are saying probably a qualified death penalty attorney. Okay, maybe that's what it is. It's a death penalty case, so we'll take a special law. Okay, well, maybe that's what it is. It sounded weird to me. Thank you, guys. Then all the crimes are premeditated because they think about it even 2 seconds before they do it on an impulse. Yeah, I got some questions about the premeditated aspect of it. And I think Stern's trial would have cleared that up for me a little bit, but he took a plea. Hey, Kalisa, aka Respect Pickles. Judge can't do anything. Red flag. It's weird to me. Like, usually they look at their little list and assign somebody. But if it's a death penalty case and they need somebody that's specially qualified in death penalty cases, I mean, that does make sense. I hope that's what it is. Ooh, Crystal said, sounds to me like he might be snitching. I can almost guarantee it 100%. Interesting. Good to see you, Crystal, Kalisa, Pickles, Piolas, all of y'all coming in.
What I'm going to do is appoint Mr. Brian Huffman to represent Mr. Drummond in this case.
So he's appointing Brian Huffman to represent Mr. Drummond in this case.
Mr. Drummond, Mr. Brian Huffman is an attorney in Covington, Tennessee. He is going to be appointed in this case to represent you, sir. We're going to get his contact information to you, and also we're going to get his information for where to contact him and locate him and be able to discuss your case with him.
So they're going to give him a way to contact him and discuss his case with him and all of that stuff. Thea and Roman, good to see you. Did Sarah Boone's judge appoint all kinds of different lawyers for her? She was a death penalty case too, not sure though. Sarah Boone kept firing her attorneys and then ended up putting out a paper advertising for an attorney, and that's how she got her last attorney. It was interesting. Understand that premeditated doesn't have to be something planned a day before, but a few minutes before the event, and just need to check exactly what it considers. Let's see. Let's go ahead and check that. Of action thought out or planned beforehand. So okay, if I'm convicted of a premeditated homicide, does that mean I planned it? And it says you planned the crime beforehand. If you're convicted of a premeditated homicide, it generally means that you planned the crime beforehand. Premeditation involves a mental process of planning and decision making prior to the act of the homicide, indicating that you had the opportunity to reflect on your actions and had a conscious decision to take another person's life. This distinction is crucial in determining the severity of your charges, as premeditated homicide is typically classified as first-degree homicide, which carries harsher penalties than second-degree homicide or manslaughter. So it means that he had time to think about what was about to happen and say, this is about to happen. I can stop it right now, or I can continue with the action. What doesn't necessarily mean, that hell, it could be premeditated because he shot one person, and then after that, he'd have to shoot each other person separately. So he would have had time to think, do I need to shoot? Should I really shoot this person? He went with yes and shot Courtney Rose. Do I really need to shoot this person? Yes, and shot Adriana Williams. And then the same thing with Braden. It could be just that. We won't know until it actually goes to court.
We'll be happy to get that to you And we're gonna send you his files we're gonna send your files to his office for him to review that, okay?
So they're going to make sure he has his attorney's information and his attorney has his information.
General, does the state wish to be heard on bond at this time? Yes, Your Honor.
Now they're going to talk about bond. Remember, he was already out on a homicide, attempted homicide charge.
Your Honor, at this time, the state intends to seek the death penalty. This is a capital case. We're asking
So the state is intending to seek the death penalty. It's a capital case.
that he be held without bond.
And they're asking he be held without bond.
In addition to that, he has a bond out of circuit court. We have filed motions to revoke those bonds.
So in addition to that, they want to revoke his other bonds that he was out on.
That will be heard later in the month of August.
And they have a court date for that already later in the month of August. Hey, Blue Jay. He went to the place with this intent, in my opinion. I think so, too. Oh, yeah, please hit the thumbs up if y'all don't mind. I appreciate it.
Mr. Drummond, what I'm going to do before I make a position on bond, I'm going to ask you some questions, sir.
So he's going to ask him some questions before he decides on bond.
And if this information is not correct, sir, please just tell me if it is not, okay?
Let me know if the information is not correct.
Can you still hear me okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He asked, could he hear him? He said yes.
16 O'Neill Oakway, Apartment E in Jackson. Is that a good address for you, sir?
16 O'Neill, Apartment E in Jackson. That's where his registered address was. Not anymore.
Okay. How long have you lived at that address, sir?
Hold on. He said somewhere else in Jackson. 54 Hominy Lane, it sounded like. I'm going to write that down. 54 Hominy Lane? Hominy or something that sounded like it. Lane in Jackson. I wonder if that's where Caitlin lives. I'm going to try to catch that one more time. Hominy or hominy or homely? Hominy or homily or homely? Something like that? Homely?
Okay. How long have you lived at that address, sir? I'll make it easier. How long have you lived in the city of Jackson?
He's lived in Jackson since he was 3.
Okay. Before you were incarcerated on your previous charge, where were you living at?
No, he's been living in Jackson since he was incarcerated on his previous charge. I'm sorry.
Okay, so
Okay, wait a minute. I got confused. Okay, so the judge is saying, so for the majority of your life, you lived in Jackson.
Jackson, Tennessee. Okay, do you have any family in Lake County, Tennessee?
No family in Lake County, Tennessee.
I'm not going to ask him questions about whether he's a prior convicted felon. I obviously don't want him to incriminate himself for that purpose. Folks, in the state of Tennessee, bond is a guaranteed right, with the exception of one incident.
So in the state of Tennessee, bond is a guaranteed right with the exception of one incident.
When it is a capital offense.
When it's a capital offense. So again, how the hell was he out on bond for an attempted homicide? I mean, I think that's a capital offense. No? Am I wrong about that? Did the laws change?
Proof is evident.
And when the proof is evident or great. Okay, wait a minute. That's going to be important. I'm going to back that up. Hold on. Let's listen to that one more time. One more again.
So don't want him to incriminate himself for that purpose. Folks, in the state of Tennessee, bond is a guaranteed right, with the exception of one incident, when it is a capital offense and when the proof is evident or is great. Based on the
Okay, so bond is a guaranteed right unless it's a capital offense and the proof is evident or great. So the attempted homicide before, maybe the proof wasn't evident or great. Hey, hobby farmer. I've watched a lot of these in custody hearings. Why are the corrections and law enforcement officers standing like that? Never seen that before. Probably because of how the charges, and they're trying to make sure that he ain't going to try to make a run for it, especially considering how good he had it in Lake County at the prison. They've seen those Facebook posts and heard the outcries from the public talking about that's some bullshit right there. And I think they're doing everything they can to make sure his life is not that pampered in prison again, and making sure that their inmate stays completely seated and in custody. It doesn't sound right at all. Right, it didn't sound right to me either. I think Blue Jay's a little bit behind. Tom says they're making an example out of him. Absolutely, I think they are.
affidavits I've read here today, it does appear that
based on the affidavits he's read here today, it appears that
purposes of bond, in addition to not only what the statute says, but first and foremost that it's the court.
So on the conditions of bond, not only based on what the statute says, but first and foremost that it's the
responsibility to take into consideration the safety posed to the community.
That it's the court's responsibility to take into consideration the safety threat he poses to the community. And I mean, again, it insane. Whoa, Lord. Okay.
The court finds that the defendant will be held without bond.
The court finds that he will be held without bond.
And he'll be remanded into the custody of the Lake County Sheriff's Department.
And he's remanded into the custody of the Lake County Sheriff's Department. Let's go over here back to Facebook real quick. Hold on. I know you can't see it. Okay, we're going with the Lake County Sheriff's Department. But correct me if I'm wrong, and we're about to look it up. When he was in the Tennessee Department of Corrections, he was in the custody of Lake County, correct? Am I wrong about that? Where he had the cell phones, one for the plug and one to make the calls on, and the Ciroc, and the freaking Hunts brothers, and the freaking Nintendo Switch, and the freaking projector, while in his jail cell, the Roku TV, the fucking Nintendo Switch. I mean, this is all Lake County, correct? Let's see. Let's find out. Oh, okay. Yep. It's Tennessee Department of Corrections in Lake County. Yes, the Tennessee Department of Corrections operates facilities in Lake County, Tennessee, specifically Northwest Correctional Complex. That's the one where we're flying drones over the yard and dropping shit. It's located in Tiptonville, which is part of Lake County. So we're reprimanding him back to the Lake County Sheriff's Office. Additionally, the Lake County Jail serves the community or the county, indicating that the DOC has a presence in the area. We're putting him right back where he was, where he's banging the damn female CO, got her pregnant, 4 months pregnant with his child. And we're putting him right back where he had all this shit. That's where we're going. Now, granted, this was the Department of Corrections and not the Lake County Jail, but still, isn't not obvious that he's got people paid off there, and we're going to put him right back there. Okay, good job. Fan-fucking-tastic. That was a great decision you just made there. I mean, tell me it's not corrupt. Yeah, he was banging. It does, doesn't it? Well, it looks like a dorm room, and we're going to put him right fucking back there. I mean, again, remember the girl that was just arrested was allegedly a CO there. His boys Tanaka Brown, Brandon Powell that just got arrested with the fucking drones and the pound of weed and all of the shit, dropping it over the freaking yard with the drones. Like, we're putting him right back in there. Okay, that's a great idea. Great idea. Cuban said, yeah, it's pretty obvious. I mean, you don't even have to be a sleuth to see something is wrong. Right. And the judge is contacting personally his public defender. Okay. No, absolutely not. Stop it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What do I got for this?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Something wrong is popping. I said, what? She said, yeah.
Something is wrong.
She said, something ain't right. I said, oh, man. She said, oh, man.
Something ain't right here. Something ain't right. Smelling fishy as a damn tuna factory that's located at the damn edge of the ocean. I don't know. Something fishy as fuck.
Pending all appearances and hearings in this matter.
May I address one other issue?
Yes, sir.
The state is also requesting restraining orders.
No, you don't, Scratch.
Restraining order besides that, and that would be from the family of victims.
Let me stop. Okay, they want to have a restraining order to make sure he doesn't contact any of the family of the victims. Now, if that includes Caitlin, I don't know. I'm assuming it does, but I don't know. It's for the family of victims Courtney Rose, Adriana Williams, Braden Williams, and
Mr. Drummond,
Mr.
let me go
Wilson.
over with you, sir, what the general has said.
I'm sorry, and also the minor child, WW. Minor child.
Yes, sir. I was going to include that, General, but I appreciate you.
And also the minor child, Westland.
Mr. Drummond, what I'm going to do is, this is something that obviously you do not have this in front of you at the moment. I'm going to be sending to you in a moment through one of our deputies to the jail. We're going to be sending you a form called Notice of Bond Conditions. What that's going to tell you is that you have bond conditions that you must follow. Obviously, if you are incarcerated.
So they're going to send him a note that tells him, or a paper. Oh, thank you. Monica, he is the money maker. Right, Snarky? They're going to send him a paper basically saying the conditions of bond. Even though he doesn't have bond, he still has to follow these conditions while incarcerated.
You will not be out on bond, but if you were to get granted bond at a later date, then these bond conditions would apply. But
if he was to be granted bond at a later date, these bond conditions would apply.
Bond conditions are you should have no contact with any of the family members of the victims in this matter, the alleged victims in this matter, Miss Courtney Rose, Miss Adriana Williams.
He is to have no contact with family members of the alleged victims, so I think that would include Caitlin.
Braden Williams and Matthew Wilson. In addition to that, sir, you cannot possess a firearm under any circumstances, and you cannot have any contact as well with the minor child that's alleged to be involved in this incident.
So he also cannot have a firearm, which he's not allowed to anyway because he's a convicted felon, and he can't have any contact with Wilson.
The court is also going to put a condition down that you must keep in contact with your attorney, Mr. Brian Huffman.
He would also have to keep in contact with his attorney. Just so messed up. He should be in solitary. He shouldn't be anywhere near people. I agree. I think he will. I think he'll be charged with it. Whether he'll actually get the death penalty or not, I don't know. Rosalie, if I had to guess, I'm going to say that eventually he's going to flip on the gang and they're going to take the death penalty off the table. It'll be a plea deal. For him, that's what I think.
In addition to that, sir, the court is going to issue restraining orders separate from your bond conditions that state you must not have any contact with these victims at all throughout the entire cause of action. The court is going to send those over to you. You will be served a copy of those.
So he'll get a copy of those. Abella said, you can see him thinking, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Hobby Farmer said, why is he calling him sir? Like he has the respect of law-abiding citizen. I don't think he should, probably because he's on camera, and he knows this is going to be, it was actually being live streamed at the time by the local news. Hannah said, I have two theories on this. Either the family were about to expose the drone operation at the prison, or he unalived them to hurt Caitlin. I think they were involved, but I mean, we don't know yet. Any of those theories could be true. Hey, Nina. He was dating the ex-prison guard who is also the stepsister of one of the victims. She is the sister of Courtney Rose, the grandmother, and she is allegedly 4 months pregnant with his baby. And allegedly, Matthew Wilson was in on the drone drops to the prison. A deal went bad. The Vice Lord gang made Austin take him out. Basically, the Vice Lords put a hit out on Matthew, and Austin had to take Matthew out. Caitlin is allegedly 4 months pregnant with his baby. Caitlin was a guard at the facility, and that's probably part of the reason he had it set up like this in his prison cell. And now he's killed her family, allegedly, because it was a hit that was to be carried out per the Vice Lords.
I told Mr. Huffman I did not discuss the possibility. I wanted to wait until he's officially appointed. If your office would like for me to go ahead and set another appearance date before the preliminary hearing, I'm fine to do that, Gerald. What's the state's
We set the other for.
So if we want to set the date before the preliminary hearing, we can do that. I'm just so frustrated right now. I don't understand why we're sending him right back to Lake County.
August 14th. We'd like to set all this together and set that date.
Date's going to be set for August
Drummond,
14th.
I'm going to continue your case to August the 14th, sir, at 9 a.m. Mr. Huffman will be in contact with you prior to that to go over your case. And he will be able to hopefully answer any questions that he has for you, sir, okay? Or that you have for him. I apologize. We will see you back here then.
August 14th is going to give them time to go over the case. Ever love me? Good to see you. Oh, yeah, Caitlin definitely got fired, scratched to paint for sleeping with him and all that shit in his cell, probably. Of course, some of this stuff was delivered with the drone drops in the prison yard, if I had to guess. Like that Roku probably could have been delivered that way. It was just a lot of corruption. You have to be respectful and follow each step to make sure he gets convicted. These people try everything to get out of it. Look at Sterns and Brian Koberger. Both tried silly excuses to drop charges. You are absolutely right. Tom said if these folks actually went out and got real jobs, they wouldn't be in this situation. Sounds to me like that prison needs to douche and get out all new guards. Yep. What? You were wrong about what? What were you wrong about, love? Ava, I don't know what you were wrong about. Maybe I misunderstood you. Yeah, Caitlin's the one that worked in the jail. Teresa said, I heard that the judge referring to the defendant as unprofessional terms can be because in appeal it can sway the jury. So, sir and ma'am or Mr. and Mrs. it is. I agree. Ava, I hope I didn't make you feel like you were wrong. I agree with that. 700 on Redfoot Lake. Interesting. Lake County, I know it's the DOC. Hold on. Let's find out. I don't think so. Is the Department of Corrections, says Department of Corrections in Lake County can refer to both federal and state correctional facilities. Hold on. Yes, the Department of Correction in Lake County, Tennessee refers to the Tennessee Department of Corrections, TDOC, Northwest Correctional Complex, located in Tiptonville, is operated by Tennessee Department of Corrections and serves as a state correctional facility. Okay, let me scroll. Department of Corruption. Ava, I don't understand what you were wrong about. You'll have to let me know what you were allegedly wrong about. Because I don't think that was wrong. I agree with that, I think. Unless I misunderstood. Well said. I don't understand why he wasn't asked how he plead. If he answered, stand silent or not guilty, and the judge enter a plea and appoint an attorney, seems like judge skipped all that and just answered for him. It did seem like that, which is weird. Maybe they're going the extra route to make sure he don't get out or slip out.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you, sir. As long as it's not related to the facts of your case or anything that could infringe on your Fifth Amendment rights, I'm fine with that, sir.
I'm just wondering, is now the time I need to ask for a quick speedy trial, or how's that?
Well, now that I've appointed you counsel, any motions that will be filed will go through your attorney, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
It is the first appearance, but what they were talking about is basically they'll say, how do you plead? And he would say not guilty. But instead of that happening, the judge said, I'm going to go ahead and enter a plea of not guilty for you until you get counsel. So that's what we were referring to. Not like an actual plea hearing, just like where the judge says, how do you plead? Evidently, because he picked his defender, which again could be because it's a death penalty case and you need a death penalty qualified public defender for that. I find it weird. I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen enough death penalty cases. I don't know.
All right, folks, case is continued to August 14th at 9 o'clock. Thank you. We are going to also take up Mr. Powell. I believe I was told that they're going to bring him over. So you folks who are here on the media, if y'all want to stick around.
All right. So that was Austin Drummond on that, the arraignment. But he would still be asked, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, innocent, et cetera, right? Or am I wrong about that? I shouldn't have X'd out of that playlist. Hold on. We have in that playlist the district attorney explaining how Austin Drummond was able to bond out on the alleged attempted homicide charge. All right. We're going to start here. Hold on. It does stink. I got a lot of questions. He allegedly talked to a district attorney about the situation, or the district attorney. So I guess we'll start it right there.
That's on your screen. So back to Drummond's criminal history here. Drummond served 13 years in Tennessee prison after being convicted of aggravated robbery and also retaliation. The retaliation charge occurred while Drummond was in prison. So he was actually charged with that, and also with attempted murder while he was in prison. He was released.
Attempted murder while he was in prison. Hobby Farmer said, I bet my farm that not one of those cops in there could outrun him. They need to have fitness requirements for law enforcement. I agree with that. Drummond was wearing a little low straw hat in those pictures. You're so funny, Anders. Always want all the due process and avenues for the defense so there is no room for error or appeal. Also for the wrongly accused, but still clear-cut cases need transparency and no bullshit. I agree. Yep, his mom paid $75,000 for his bond, or paid a $75,000 bond, which was probably, she paid a percentage of it, and he was able to bond out in February. He does look old and tired.
From prison on September 1st, 2024, according to the Tennessee Department of Corrections. So this is something that's really interesting that the district attorney explained to me. And again, you're going to see his interview in a second. But he was telling me that while Drummond was in prison, he was charged with attempted murder, but then somehow got out on bond and was free despite having that charge. And this is the explanation here. In Tennessee, the state constitution grants a right to bail to individuals charged with crimes, with a key exception for cases where the defendant is facing the death penalty. So basically, in Tennessee, if you're not facing the death penalty, so every single crime except the crimes where you're facing the death penalty, you are granted a bond. 100%, you are going to get some kind of bond. It could be a high bond, but you're granted a bond. So even with Drummond's extensive...
The kids called me. I need to back that up 1 second.
Got out on bond and was free despite having that charge. And this is the explanation here. In Tennessee, the state constitution grants a right to bail to individuals charged with crimes, with a key exception for cases where the defendant is facing the death penalty. So basically, in Tennessee, if you're not facing the death penalty, so every single crime except the crimes where you're facing the death penalty, you are granted a bond.
Wow. Okay. So he was able to bond out on the homicide charge because he wasn't facing the death penalty for that homicide. That makes sense, I guess. But I don't think we should allow a bond for every crime unless you're facing the death penalty. And that's the only way you can be absolutely denied bond. That's interesting. I never thought about that. Obviously, he's facing the death penalty for this one, so he's not allowed bond. How interesting. Oh, I'm sorry you've had pneumonia. I hope you feel better, sweetheart. Brenda said at least he didn't commit homicide on the baby. Thank God for that. I don't think he could have, because I think the baby's going to be cousins with his baby. Covington is about 1.5 hours from Lake County. Interesting. Everybody can have a bond if it's not a capital crime, it seems like. Yep. If they're not facing the death penalty, you get a bond in the state of Tennessee. So basically, like you said, as long as you're not facing the death penalty in the state of Tennessee, you will be given a bond. But I mean, $75,000 bond, I don't know. I'd have felt better with like a $200,000 bond. Then maybe mommy couldn't have bonded him out. Well, no, because he bonded out on a homicide charge, Pickles. Attempted murder was, or attempted homicide was his charge, and he was able to bond out. That's why we were all like, excuse me, what? He's on bond for an attempted homicide? Like, how did we bond out for an attempted homicide? And basically what he just said is the reason is because he wasn't facing the death penalty for that attempted homicide. As if you're not facing the death penalty, then you can bond out. Now this one he is, because it's quadruple homicide, it's pretty significant, and he's not facing, or he is facing the death penalty for the quadruple homicide, but the homicide where he attempted to kill somebody in prison, that homicide charge, he wasn't facing the death penalty. Yeah, probably. The child probably would be aunt or uncle to the other baby. I just couldn't figure it out in my head. It was too much. It is nuts, isn't it, Abellis? I was wondering that too, if his mom would lose the entirety of the bond now, but I don't think so because he's back in jail on those charges. So I think she would get it back. Wait, what about the baby? Which baby? The baby allegedly Caitlin's pregnant with? I guess the baby's going to grow up without a dad. Had more tests yesterday. Have appointment with pulmonary specialist tomorrow. Is COPD. I'm so sorry. Wow. I hope you feel better. Yeah, that is a scary policy there for the victims as well. I didn't even think about that, Dolly. That is scary. Like you tell somebody he tried to kill me and they can bond out. Tennessee has a law other than capital cases. Everyone can get bond. Yep. That's what we're talking about. Interesting. I didn't know that.
100%, you are going to get some kind of bond. It could be a high bond, but you're granted a bond. So even with Drummond's extensive history and the fact that he was charged with attempted murder while he was already in prison, he was still given a bond, and he was still out on bond when police say he committed this quadruple murder, which is obviously enraging when you think about the fact that if he didn't get the bond and he stayed behind bars, those 4 people would still be alive right now, which is really, again, it's just really, really awful to think about. At the press conference after his arrest was announced, these questions came up about his history in prison, about why he was out. And this is, they didn't give a lot of details, but this is what police said.
In terms of his prior charges that he also has picked up while he was in prison, all of those certainly will be taken into consideration as we move forward in the justice process, as you've heard the generals speak to. So yes, all of his activities will be certainly considered, not only in our investigative effort in the justice process, but certainly in his housing and how he'll be managed going forward.
But yet you put him right back in Lake County. Right. We're going to consider that when we house him and where we place him, but he's going to be put right back where he was, where he had it made like a king. AKA Respect Pickles said not he killed the victims, he can't bond out. Right. Like if it was an attempted homicide. Okay. So basically, because that person was still alive, he's not facing the death penalty. Therefore, he can bond out. But it's scary because, like, if you're that victim and you're like, let me give a different example. My husband pulled a gun and said he was going to kill me. He shot me and hit me in the arm. Then your husband can bond out technically. And what do? Like they say, don't contact your ex-wife. Well, yeah, that's going to work. Have you seen how many times a fucking piece of paper stops somebody from killing somebody else? Like, that is insane to me. Just because he didn't kill the victim, he was able to bond out because because he didn't kill the person he attempted to kill, he wasn't facing the death penalty. So therefore he could bond out. Yeah, you have to legit kill someone to get no bond. That's messed up. Yeah, I smoke and I need to stop. That is awesome, Dandy. I need to stop myself. That's crazy. I wonder how bad the domestic violence situations are there, because legitimately, like, my husband could shoot me in the arm and be bonded out later that night. That is so scary.
Forward.
Okay, so this is something else really interesting that I had heard, and I didn't know that it was true until the district attorney confirmed it to me. And I'm going to read this to you exactly. And he confirmed this. One of Drummond's victims, who he murdered, Courtney Rose, had a sister who was a correctional officer at Drummond's prison when he was in prison. And the district attorney says she was let go after having an affair with him and is carrying his son. I mean, just think about that for a minute. The victims.
So allegedly, again, Caitlin was the CO, had an affair with him, and is carrying his son. And she's the sister of Courtney Rose, the grandmother.
Sister worked in the prison where Drummond was. They had an affair. And she is now carrying his son. So this whole thing is just a sordid mess. I want to play for you now my interview with the district attorney who will now be prosecuting Austin Drummond.
Yeah, they actually had a good idea yesterday what area of town he was in Jackson, Tennessee. So they had surrounded the area. They had air support, helicopters, SWAT teams. Everyone was in the area, and they were really good about putting information out to the media, and they let the community know what was going on there. And fortunately today, we just had someone in the community that spotted him, and actually more than one, I believe, called in, and within minutes, we had officers there, and he was taken into custody.
We didn't get a ton of information before he was caught, sort of about the circumstances of what happened, obviously.
I'm really proud of all of y'all that have stopped smoking. I don't know why there's women COs at men's prisons, and I don't know why there's men COs at women's prisons. I think that needs to stop. Cuban Dolly said, so do the COs continue to protect him as well as the gang back to his dorm room, I guess. What is justice anymore? It depends on if they're paid off. The COs are underpaid and understaffed. And like I was saying yesterday, you get these people that, have family members that are in the gang or whatever, and one of their family members is a CO, and they say, hey, cousin Sally, if you go take your lunch break or if you excuse yourself to go to the bathroom at exactly 1:12 p.m. on Tuesday, I'll pay you $10,000. And that's all they want you to do is just say, it's, look at the clock, notice it's 1:12 p.m. and say, I got to go use the bathroom, and leave to go use the bathroom and get $10,000. It's hard to say no, and sometimes undertrained. Yep. Where do you get your nicotine from? Like, is it healthy? Dang it. Hold on, I'm going to play this video. I got a
Obviously,
call.
we know that there was a baby that was found abandoned, and then this group of people who were murdered. Can you tell us a bit more about the connection between the baby, the victims, and then also Austin Drummond?
Yeah, the connection to the baby, the way it actually came in was it was just a call of a child had been abandoned on the side of the road. So, immediately they start looking for the mother and father of the child. And once they reached out to some family members, they realized that they had been missing since the night before, along with two other individuals. So they start looking for them, just at that point because of an abandoned baby. And a few hours later, their bodies were discovered. And the connection between the two is that Austin Drummond was dating Caitlin Speed. And she is the sister to one of the victims, who is Courtney. Courtney Rose. I'm sorry, drawing a blank. So that was the connection. So it was Speed's girlfriend. It was her sister, her daughter, her son, and then her daughter's boyfriend that were all the victims.
Gosh, it's so tragic. Do you have any idea what the motive is, why he would want to kill his girlfriend's family members?
Yeah, that's the thing that everybody's wanting to know right now, and no idea about that, but we're so far into the investigation that we can't reveal that yet.
And whose baby?
Okay, I'm going to back that up because I had to take a phone call real quick, just a little bit. I wanted to hear what he was saying about the family members real quick because I might can answer that question. It's anti-inflammatory. Interesting. He maxed out his prison sentence, but had basically, I explained that yesterday. So basically, what happens is, let's say for example, I'm in Lake County doing time for a larceny, and that's a 90-day sentence, and I finished my 90 days there. They say you're done in Lake County and you're free to go. But I also had a larceny out of Tipton, or I don't know, Dyer County. Okay. So when I finished my sentence in Lake County, my 90 days that I was sentenced to do for larceny, I'd have to go to Dyer County for, let's say, shoplifting. Okay. And I'm waiting to go to court there. Technically, I'll get a bond for that, and I could bond out in Dyer County and be free on those charges. And that's basically what happened. Me too, Smokey. Me too. Yep, there shouldn't be women. It's not a good idea. You literally inhale what they use for MRIs. Oh wow. Okay. I backed that up a little bit. I wanted to hear what he said.
Well, that was the connection. So it was Speed's girlfriend. It was her sister, her daughter, her son, and then her daughter's boyfriend that were all the victims.
Gosh, it's so tragic. Do you have any idea what the motive is, why he would want to kill his girlfriend's family members?
Yeah, that's the thing that everybody's wanting to know right now, and no idea about that, but we're so far into the investigation that we can't reveal that yet.
And whose baby was it?
The baby actually belonged to Matthew Wilson and Adriana Williams. So that was the niece and then her boyfriend of Austin's girlfriend.
So it's definitely Caitlin's the connection, but we don't know if he was mad at Caitlin and took out the family because he was upset at Caitlin about something, or if, like they're saying on Facebook, there was an alleged hit put out on Matt by the Vice Lords gang because of a deal that went bad, or there was another one that Hannah said. Vapes are bad, if not worse. Yeah, I'm trying not. I don't really like vapes. I'm trying not to smoke them.
And
Caitlin.
is the baby okay?
Oh yeah, the baby was fine. Fortunately, what happened is as soon as the baby was abandoned, he blew the horn, and there were people out working, doing some construction. He blew the horn and pointed at the child, so they came out and immediately took the child.
So it sounds like his intention was not to hurt the baby.
That's new information. I mean, we heard that he somehow got the attention of people around, but he actually stopped, blew the horn, and waved somebody down to make sure Westland wasn't staying out there in that heat wave too long. Interesting.
No, not at all. Sorry about that. The sheriff pulled up to make sure I was okay.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
Yeah, no, I think probably what happened was the baby was present when the murders took place, and he took the child and then knew that he couldn't keep the child with him, so he abandoned the child.
Do you know what are you able to say what the cause of death is, how he killed them all?
Yeah, gunshot wound.
Gunshots. Okay. And was this at their house?
So basically, the baby saw the homicide, and he put her there. Monica, what did they say you were a troll about? I wonder. Yeah, let me know what they thought you were a troll about. That's interesting. My heart breaks for her too. Her mama, daddy, uncle, and uncle and grandma are gone. But I'm glad that he did blow the horn and get somebody's attention to get the baby and take care of her. I really think it's because Caitlin's pregnant with his child, and he would want the same done for his. He was probably afraid of what would happen to him in prison if the baby died. True. I mean, that could be another aspect of it. The baby was girlfriend's niece. Yes. Oh, technically it is a rumor, but I mean, I don't know. I'll see if I can find it, if I can pull it up relatively quickly. Hold on. Okay, so on Facebook, we've got these pictures. I mean, what does that look like to y'all? I think that's a freaking maternity photo if I ever saw one, and there's more. I don't know if I've got them on here. No, I don't got them on here. But that looks like a freaking maternity photo to me. You know. I don't know. Technically, it is a rumor, but I think that she's pregnant with his child, and I don't know. I've heard a lot of things. This case, a lot of things were put out on Facebook because they talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people from the area were able to tell us things that the police aren't going to come out and directly say right now. Stress, I need a couple of days. Oh, wow. That's awesome. That is amazing, Cuban. Hold on. I was afraid in the beginning that the baby saved was going to turn out to be biologically his. I'm glad I was wrong. Oh, yeah, me too. Allegedly, it was confirmed. Really? Yep, well, he lost me. Well, he didn't deserve you. Blue giraffes. Maybe she does got really bad gas. Lord have mercy. We need to get her some gas X stat. Good to see you, Blue Giraffes.
No. This was in a wooded area. And that's the thing, is this has spanned over several counties, because Austin was actually from Jackson, Tennessee, which is Madison County. The baby was dropped in Dyer County, but the murders took place in Lake County. So it was a pretty good span. And then the area that the murders took place is a really wooded area. It's in Lake County. It's a state owned wooded area near Reelfoot Lake, and it's really
State owned area that's really remote. Like where the prison is? Like where they were doing the drone drops, maybe?
remote, and that's where the bodies were.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
Allegedly where they were doing the drone drops, because allegedly there was a hit put out on that, because allegedly a deal went bad, or maybe allegedly he knew too much. I don't know.
Why there was some confusion. Drummond was, I read that he was out on bond. What was that about?
Yeah, he is out on bond, or was until today. He was an inmate at
Lori.
Northwest Correctional Complex, and he was there for an aggravated robbery he committed when he was 17 years old. And then he also had a charge after his trial where he had made some threats to jury members. So he was charged with that as well. So he had a 13-year sentence. While he was in the Northwest Correctional Complex, that's actually in Lake County. He had some charges where he had drugs inside the prison. So we indicted him for that. And he had actually come to court several times. And this is while he's still in prison. And then shortly after that, he was charged with attempted murder. And the victim for that was inside the prison as well. He completed his sentence, so the 13-year sentence, so he had to be released. And at that point, he was taken from the Northwest Correctional Complex, which is the Department of Corrections, to the local jail in Lake County to be booked in. And then he had a bond that was set and made that bond.
So he had a bond for attempted, even with an attempted murder charge?
Yeah, in the state of Tennessee, every person has a constitutional right to a bond, and the only exception to that is if we are seeking the death penalty in its capital case. Outside of that, every person is entitled to a bond.
And that's straight from the district attorney's mouth himself. Brenda said, how did he lure them? That's a good question. If a deal went bad, he might have lured them out there by saying, hey, we're going to do a drop. I need you to come out here and help me do this drop. And everybody was with them because allegedly, per the Facebook post, Matthew was the target. But Courtney Rose, Adriana Williams, and Braden Williams were in the car. And so if he killed Matt, he couldn't leave any witnesses. So he shot everybody. The only witness that was left was a 7-month-old baby who couldn't tell on him anyway. And he left the baby in the yard. Allegedly, that's the rumor. Hey, Jerry, Tiptonville, where the prison is located, is a very small town. It sits on Reelfoot Lake, Reelfoot Lake. There are businesses and homes, but considered rural. That's what somebody had said earlier. I get teased over the way I say things. Oh, thank you, Dolly. I'm glad I remind you of home. Unfathomable. I have trouble with that word. That laws allowed him out with a variety of violent history. That's crazy. Oh, thank y'all for being here. Oh, Lord Jesus, Brenda. Hey, Rhonda. This guy is bad news all the way around. Tennessee needs a law change, in my opinion. I agree. Maybe this will see that law gets changed.
Are you frustrated that he sounds like a dangerous guy the way you describe him with what happened in prison and his past charges. Are you frustrated that he got the bond?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not a situation where the judge could deny the bond. We do not have that ability in Tennessee to deny a bond. And that's something that has, there's been some legislation that took effect. It just passed this year, where that should be placed on the ballot to try to make a constitutional amendment so that we can make some changes there.
So they're putting on the ballot where they can try to hopefully change it to where people can't do that. Tammy Paranormal Investigations, I'm glad you are here. We speculate. This case specifically, I have used Facebook and X post, but I've always said I don't know if it's true or not. I don't usually do that, but in this case specifically, we don't know a lot of information, but a lot of people in the area know information because he's involved in gangs and his group of friends is going to, kind of say things and put things out. Family members and things like that would be putting things out before the police did. So I did follow Facebook and X on this, which I don't usually do, but we do speculate. But I do make sure that we say that it's speculation. Other than that, yeah, it's news sources, but we do speculate a little bit here and there. Thank you for being here. Jerry said, my mom used to be a prison guard there. The prisoners get away with too much. One of the reasons she quit. It sounds like they're paid off, if I had to guess. I mean, especially if we just go back to this and look at how he had the Nintendo, the cell phone, the Roku in the prison, taking all these pictures on his damn cell phone. I mean, he's walking around doing work. How did they not see that? Is there not a camera in this area right here? No camera. I mean, and that looks like he's in the damn break room. That's not, or his damn refrigerator. I just, getting Hunt's Brothers pizza. I don't know, man. Somebody's paying somebody. He's wearing pants. They do have something written on them. And when I just clicked on this other picture, it looked like he had white pants right there, TNDOC. So maybe they have Tennessee Department of Corrections written on them, and maybe they have jeans for doing outside work. But he's got his boots on. I don't know, man. And then again, the video of the projector he's got in his jail cell, and the Nintendo Switch he's got in his jail cell playing Grand Theft Auto. Somebody was getting paid to look the other way. I agree. Tom said, those days are over. Let us hope.
But unfortunately, right now in Tennessee, a bond cannot be denied.
Wow, that's sort of shocking to hear, especially when you think about now you've got this quadruple murder.
Me too.
Could the judge have had a higher? I mean, what do you know what the bond was set at?
Yeah, there's no limit. That's the thing. I mean, a person is entitled to a bond, but I mean, it can be set at $10 million. It can be set at anything. He's just entitled to some bond. And of course, it's supposed to be reasonable. But yeah, the judge set two bonds, actually. He set a $30,000 bond for the drug charges, and then he set a $100,000 bond for the attempted murder. So that was a total of $130,000 bond that he made.
And he was able to get out. Wow. I'm just thinking about this.
Now, yesterday when I was on X, we found the bond paperwork. And I'm going to see if I can find it again, but it didn't say no $100,000 bond. Oh, there's Mr. Brandon when he went to court. Interesting. There's Austin. Hold on. What is this? I guess that's just information on the charge right now. They're saying arrest warrants allege the victims were killed to prevent them from testifying in Drummond's upcoming attempted homicide trial. I don't know that to be true. Obviously, it's just speculation, but this is saying again, arrest warrants allege that the victims were killed to prevent them from testifying in Drummond's upcoming attempted homicide trial. I don't think that's true. Because he's dating Caitlyn, like that doesn't make any sense. Why would he kill Caitlyn's family to prevent them from testifying, especially when Caitlyn's allegedly pregnant with his baby? I mean, again, you tell me, but that looks like a freaking maternity photo if I ever saw one. Maybe she has gas, like Blue Giraffe said. Where's that damn paperwork that I had yesterday? it showed that his bond was $75,000, not $100,000 like this guy is saying right now. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find it. It's on my video. It's on the live stream from yesterday, but well, I guess if the DA said it's 100,000, it was 130,000 total. Who posted? What would that be? Tammy said, my daughter's incarcerated at this time, and I'm not trying to be rude. However, it's not the prison system, it's individual people and the choices they make as a prison guard, in my opinion. I agree with that 100%. I think they're paid off. I think they absolutely got paid off to look the other way. And again, if we jump back over here, allegedly she was a CO and she is arrested for helping him as well, Dara Sanders. And I've seen sometimes like Dara might have grown up with her brother, you know, her whole life. Her brother became part of a gang at the age of 13. And then she grew up and was able to get a job as a CO. So she got a job as a CO so she could help her brother and do things. Now, that's like a 1 in a million kind of thing. But like I said earlier, if you're underpaid and understaffed and somebody says, I'll give you $10,000 to leave and go to the bathroom at 1:12 p.m. this Tuesday, it's hard to say no, you know? Like when $10,000 is like your bring home pay for a whole year and you can get it just to get up out of your seat, go to the bathroom at a certain time on a certain day, one time, it's hard to say no, unfortunately. So it would be a $13,000 bond. Yep, bondsman's usually 10%. That's what I was about to look up, Dandelion. Thank you for letting me know. So they would have had to have $13,000 to bond him out, and allegedly his mama bonded him out per the paperwork we saw yesterday. I should have got copies of it, but I'll find it at some point.
This guy, you know, he had been in prison before, was out on bond, and then did this. I mean, just he must have known you were going to get him.
Yeah, I think he knew he went on the run pretty quickly after the discovery of the bodies. So, yeah, and he didn't go very far.
For this community, for you, this has got to be. I mean, it's a brutal crime. I mean, I'm just thinking about people must be shaken up. I mean, they must be relieved too that you've got the guy in custody now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Lake County is a very, very small community, 7,000 population for the county. So, you know, things like this are not something that they're used to. And so when it does happen, you know, anywhere that something like this happens, people are going to be upset. They're going to be on edge. But when it's a community that's not used to things like this, it really has an effect.
Can you seek the death penalty in this case?
Yes, I think that we can. In Tennessee, there are aggravating factors that we have to look at. I'm pretty confident that this is going to meet those factors, and I'll be making a decision and announcement about that within the next couple of days. There will be arraignments Thursday for Austin Drummond, and I'll probably at that time we'll have a decision about that.
Did you know of him before this? I mean, is he someone who had his files come across your desk?
Yeah, the only reason that it did was because the charges that he received at the prison, because that's in my district as well. So we were actually prosecuting those two cases that he was out on bond for before this. So we knew who he was.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time. It's interesting what you said about the bond and the possible laws being changed. I mean, maybe this is a case that could actually help with that.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think it may be able to do that.
Well, thank you for your time, sir. Appreciate you.
Bye, Brian. Thank you.
Have a good day. All right, bye.
You too. All right, bye.
I appreciate the district attorney for talking with me, and I appreciate you guys for watching. It's kind of been a long week again. I'm in Kentucky right now, working on this story about the sheriff who killed the judge.
I was following that case in the beginning, and I'm sure I'll find more about it to go over with you guys. Looking for the videos I got. Okay, hold on. Okay, I do have, let's see, 136. 21. Okay, I saw that Plunder dropped 72 new videos that shows Stephan Sterns driving around the day and night that Madeline was missing. So we actually get to see his car driving around. Now, she said you don't see Madeline in the car at all. I'm going to watch what I was able to screen record as we had started the live and see what we can see. But I think in the end, I'm going to have to end up just going over her video for this live, and I'll work on trying to get those videos out. I have requested them already. I'm going to drop, hold on. I'm going to drop her link and I'm going to pin it to the top of the chat. Now, I got these from Plunder's Patreon. If you are not a member of Plunder's Patreon, you are missing out. There is a monthly fee, but like you get access to all of these things, and she's all the time like hold on, let's click over here real quick. See right here, I'll read this first so you kind of understand what's going on. There you can see one of the videos. And she wrote 72 new raw surveillance videos of Stephan Sterns on February 26, 2024 and February 27th of 2024. Wanted to make sure that I wasn't muted. Hey, Nana Rocks, your image looks like Roxanne, so I apologize. Good to see you. So he was driving the silver Lincoln and Jennifer Soto's white Nissan. And she put out a video on it, and we'll watch that. And she said, I created a YouTube video discussing the 72 new February 26th and 27 videos. Stephan Sterns driving the Lincoln MKZ at Jennifer Soto's Nissan Sentra. And then you can download it, supposedly Kissimmee case file on Stephan Sterns, but no CCTV footage, etc. Actually, I want to download that as well. Okay, I'm going to go right back. Oh, okay. It's downloaded now. All right. And it says on Monday, February 26th of 2024, Stephan drove his parents' silver Lincoln MKZ to transport the body of Madeline Soto miles away from the condo she shared with her mom, Jen Soto. He drove a lot that day. There's the Lincoln. I now understand why investigators could not say for sure who drove Jennifer's 2022 white four-door Nissan Sentra the following day, because you'll see the darkness of her windows during that trip. But the telltale black stripe package on her car helped investigators find it along the journey on Tuesday. And there's one of the still shots of her car right there. And there's that black stripe. But that Thursday, February 29th, Stephan would already be in jail, and investigators would tell Jennifer Soto they no longer thought Maddie was alive. I'll play the audio of that interview with some of the footage we watch. I find it interesting that Stephan drives on Old Canoe Creek Road, and Jennifer mentions her friends living off that road too, very close to where Maddie would be found that Friday, March 1st of 2024. We will see footage starting just after he left the condo area at 12:44 p.m., with actual footage beginning at February 26th, 2024 at 12:49 p.m. He drove all the way to Old Hickory Tree Drive and headed back around 211 with a spare tire on his car. He arrived back at the condo at 2:43 p.m. What a busy bee Stephan was that day. Nearly 12 hours later, he was up and at him again. On Tuesday at 3:16 a.m., Jennifer's white Nissan exits the complex utilizing the main gate. We will watch his car take a similar journey, but it will be impossible to see who is driving due to the darkness and window tinting. We do learn Stephan likely spent 30 minutes in the early morning hours of Tuesday, February 27th, 2024, at the place where he placed Maddie, arriving there around 3:35 a.m. and not heading back to the condo until 4:09 a.m. Quote, I located a similar size, style, and color vehicle past Creative Inspirations on Hickory Tree Drive in St. Cloud, camera facing Old Hickory Tree Drive just south of 13th Street. What was he doing? I shudder to think. Remember, he told his dad he thought of ending it all. By 4:30 a.m., Stephan was headed through the front gate of the condo, and that's where in the discovery they talk about everywhere he drove, and we got some still shots, some screenshots of that. That Wednesday morning, he would make a drive to Northport, Florida, and back to the hotel that he and Jennifer were forced to stay in after being kicked out of the condo for police investigation work, but I don't have those videos. Quote, I provided this data to Detective Morris and Detective Illigan for the use of the investigation. The traffic camera video was made available through access provided by the city of St. Cloud and may be uploaded at a later date. And like I said, I downloaded all of these videos, but if we go over here, mine is just going to be screenshots and it's not that great. I'm sure if we watch Plunder's video, excuse me, sorry, I snatched that headphone off my head so I didn't sneeze in y'all's ear. I think if we watch Plunders, it's going to be easier to see. At least, sorry for yelling. What is it, Vera? Couldn't agree with you more. I don't know what you yelled at. Jen needs to be arrested. I agree with that. I'll find it when I'm not looking for it. No doubt. Yeah. I despise Jen. She needs to go to jail. Right. Okay, so you guys can see that it's kind of hard. Thank you, Cindy. It's kind of hard to see because I was just screen recording literally like as the live started. And you can see a few cars drive by here and there, but it's actually dark. I think if we go look at Plunders, it seems to me that she has taken the time to put them in order and make it a little bit better viewable. So I am going to borrow her video. I really try hard not to do that, not to play like other YouTubers' videos, but we're going to do it today. She is linked in the description box. And like I said, if you have not joined her Patreon, it's a great place to get lots of information. She has information on all the cases. She is like constantly uploading things onto her Patreon that, I mean, will amaze you. So here's her video. It's a 2-hour and 19-minute video. I'm sure we won't watch the whole thing, but we'll see what she has to say about it. She does a wonderful job. Plunder's video is linked at the top of the chat box, and she's also in the description box. If you have not subscribed to her, please do so, and I'll grab her Patreon link if you guys want to join that.
Something you haven't seen before. If you follow the case of Stephan Sterns was recently convicted. He pled guilty and pled no contest to doing some horrible things to the 13-year-old daughter of his girlfriend. Her name, the 13-year-old, is Maddie Soto, and the girlfriend's name is Jennifer Soto.
It's a horrific case. Jennifer needs to go to jail. I did just drop her link for Patreon. If you guys haven't joined her Patreon, make sure you do that because she, like I said, does a really good job. Jennifer does have diabetes. She got a bad case of diabetes.
Okay, so police sent me these 72 surveillance videos of Stephan Sterns driving around the day Maddie was reported missing. That was Monday, February 26, 2024. And also late into that night, technically into the next day, Tuesday, February 27th, 2024. Stephan was a busy little bee. Now, he was busy telling authorities, I was so tired. All I did was, I'm so time blind. All I did that Monday was drop Maddie off close to her school near Peace Church.
I'm going to back up to that picture right here. Somebody said this, but after talking to him through the emails, I think that day that Stephan went and threw the axes with Jennifer's ex-husband while they were hanging out, and he got the bullseye and is standing right beside it with that smug ass look on his face. I think that if he hadn't been able to do that, been able to get the bullseye, I think his whole day would have been ruined. Like, he seems like the very egotistical type to have to feel like he done better than the other guy. Like, he looks like he's really proud of himself. It looks like he's trying to pretend he has some arm muscle there. Um, and it's weird to me because, like, he's supposed to be dating Jen. We all know he wasn't interested in Jen. He was interested in Maddie. So, like, did he go out with Jen's ex-husband? I don't know. It's weird. Like, did you look at him like a I don't know. I don't even want to say it. It's freaking weird. And I don't think Stephan Sterns' ego would have let him walk away from there getting anything less than right there on the bullseye. I think he would have stayed there for hours upon hours until he hit that bullseye before they left that place where they're throwing the axes, honestly.
Monday was drop Maddie off close to her school near Peace
Yeah.
Church. This is in Florida in the Kissimmee, St. Cloud, Orlando area. He claims he dropped her off, this
Yep.
7th grader, middle schooler, gorgeous girl, dropped her off in the cold about a block or so away from school, and poof, she just disappeared, and he had no idea what happened. Well, of course, the eye in the sky, God is always watching. He can see through any of our lies. And so traffic cameras told the story.
She wants you to be very much aware that you're not going to see Madeline in any of these videos. So just so you know. Who was that? Cuban Dolly said called his mommy after and probably bragged about it too. Oh, I'm damn sure he did. Blue Giraffe said Jen's ex also had a younger daughter. That's why he wanted to bond. Good point. I didn't even think about that. A marine bioengineer, biomechanic, some crap. Yeah, it's insane. Oh, yeah. I've heard some things about him in prison that we might be able to talk about as well.
Please note before I go any further, you are not going to see any videos of Maddie, nothing untoward, nothing graphic, nothing like that in this video. What I did put in a public request records for from police are just videos that they captured, those red light cameras. Thank God they have them all over the place. And even the LPR readers, the license plate readers, boy, when we get to that part, they sent me a couple of those in this batch of 72 videos. A link to the zip file, the raw videos are below. For those of you who like to download the videos, watch them yourselves, see what condition I was giving them. Woo! That was something else. I had to, just for you techies, encode these videos into Apple ProRes so they wouldn't degrade, and it was looking all crazy if I didn't.
Now, I need somebody to teach me how to do stuff like that because that's what it said on the thing, and that's probably why I can't get it to play on my computer. But I am able to download stuff on my phone, and then I'll have to screen record it, and then I can put it in CapCut and make videos, and that's what I'm going to have to do to those videos. But I don't even know that I'm going to necessarily do a video on it. Like I said, I have FOIA requested those videos that she has, so they'll send them to me. But if I have trouble opening them, I'm probably not going to put them out in video format. And I don't know. I'm kind of still learning. Like I'm a baby channel over here, so I'm watching her videos and learning how she's doing it, aspiring to be like her, but not exactly. You know what I mean? Like learn from the bigger creators, and so I'm still learning. But if anybody knows how to do stuff like that or has any advice on how I can make my videos or anything better, please let me know. I have no idea what any of this stuff is. It says to encode video on Apple ProRes, you can utilize several tools and workflows depending on your operating system and editing software. On Mac OS, which would be operating system, you can use the Finder's encode selected video file, service, or compressor. On Windows, Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe Media Encoder, and DaVinci Resolve with the PC version offer ProRes encoding capabilities. See, I don't even know. I don't even know what any of that means.
and do that. Took forever to get them in a semblance of order because the naming conventions weren't there really. But I was able to compare it to the PDFs we have. We've learned Stephan Sterns drove
really?
all over the place, starting that Monday morning, technically February 26th, and not the places he told police. So I wanted to see those videos. I requested the public records months ago. I believe,
I need
of
to do
course,
that.
officially I was denied at first.
And
A
that.
lot of times I feel like I put in public records requests way too early. I get denied, the criminal investigation is still going on, or the case hasn't been fully adjudicated. Well, Stephan.
I feel her pain because I will submit a FOIA request immediately and they'll be like, it's still under investigation. It hasn't been to court, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, stop it. Give me the information.
And put in his guilty plea. He was found guilty. He was sentenced. He's off, serving his time for the horrible things he did to Maddie, taking her life as well, even though he pled no contest to that. But anyway, he's guilty. So I went back. This is what I'm learning with public records requests. You have to be specific in what you want, and you have to keep following up. Because after Stephan Sterns was found guilty and sentenced, then it was okay for police to release these videos to me, but they hadn't, so I had to follow up, and then I finally got them. As a side note, did you hear about how much Moscow PD out in Idaho wants for Brian Koberger? The entire case files? Maybe it's the videos too. I don't really know what it includes, but this one YouTuber, she posted on X, they want $20,000 for that case file.
Wow. Pretty Lies and Alibis. I've heard of that name. So I agree. I mean, it's probably what it is. I have paid $225 to the state attorney's office for files on Stephan Sterns' case that I still have not gotten to this day. And they say their caseload is like 6 to 9 months out. I asked them for everything on Stephan Sterns already, and they want me to send more money. And I told them, I was like, man, I'm not sending any more money until I get the original information that I paid for it a few months back. Like before the emails, before any of that, I sent them $225 and they still ain't sent me my information. They'll do this shit. They'll want a ridiculous amount, $20,000. Like we just got $20,000 lying around to look at the case file. I heard he's appealing. Yeah, she does, Monica. That's what I've heard. But I mean, I would love to do that, but I also don't have, let's say we got 4 creators. I also don't really have $5,000 lying around that I could put towards it either. You know what I mean? See if they'll take an IOU. Yeah, that would be nice. Can I have it now? And then when I get paid from YouTube, maybe I can pay you back in payments of I don't know, $50 a month. That's insane. $20,000. Wow. It's like a freaking bond.
So it shows you just how much some of this stuff can be. It can be.
Can we do like a bondsman? Can I get somebody and pay 10% of it?
Free like these, it just costs me a lot of time and effort,
Hey, Holly.
days and days and time worth of effort, or it can range where it's really high. So I'm learning, be specific and narrow down what you want. Maybe you can pay piecemeal if it costs anything.
No, not Stephan. I've heard that Brian Koberger is appealing, but I don't know. And yeah, that would put the death penalty back on the table. Supposedly, he saw exactly what they had on him, and he's appealing now, saying that he had ineffective counsel. Now, I don't know. I've just heard that rumor on these YouTube streets. I looked to see if I could find anything on it today, and I didn't see anything. But yeah, allegedly, Koberger is appealing, saying that he had ineffective counsel, which I'm sure that the Gonzalez family would love to go to trial with him. So maybe it'll be a good thing if it's true. I don't know.
And secondly, follow up, because a lot of these places, after the person is sentenced, they're not going to automatically say, oh, remember that public records request you put in months ago? Here it is. No, you have to chase it down. So you won't see Maddie in any of these videos. What you will see is Monday, February 26th, Stephan driving his parents' silver Lincoln MKZ. Unfortunately, It's what he used to transport Maddie out to a different place miles away among the bamboo is where she was found. He drove from that Kissimmee condo on Santa Maria Drive way out in St. Cloud. He's on 192 quite a bit. If you're familiar with Florida at all, which I'm not technically, even though I did live in Tallahassee for 5 years. Thank God for these license plate readers. Basically, we're looking at 4 trips for both Monday and Tuesday.
She lived in Tallahassee. That is super cool and interesting. Yes, Stephan Sterns is evidently, from what I've heard, very afraid in prison. And we'll watch a little bit of this, and I'll jump over to where I heard that at and show it to you guys. Yeah, evidently he is scared shitless right now. Allegedly.
Looking at when Stephan left the condo, drove out near Old Hickory Tree Road or Hickory Tree, presumably leaving Maddie there. The second trip on his way back to the condo, getting a flat tire somewhere in there, it makes his car really distinguishable on that trip back. That's Monday. He drove a lot that day. And then, did he rest and get all this sleep? And was he conked out like he told investigators? No. He was up and at 'em again, very, very late, well into Monday, after Monday is over, basically Tuesday, at like 3-something in the morning. He leaves the condo again. So this time it's nighttime, but he does not drive his car. He drives Jennifer Soto's white Nissan. Supposedly she stays asleep the entire time he does this.
Tom, stop it. Tom said, hopefully Stern's cellmate is 300 pounds and has the nickname of Power Drill. Stop it. Behave yourself. Hush your mouth.
He takes her white Nissan out to the same location, basically taking the same route and then coming back again. And what's troubling is the part we'll talk about when he stays out there half an hour in the middle of the night where he placed Maddie doing God knows what. But thankfully for these license plate readers, video surveillance evidence, the Lincoln MKZ Florida tag, Stephan's parents' car, the first one he drives, it's kind of goldish or silverish depending on the light. It has a tag IYLL82. That was the big car everyone was looking for when Maddie was still missing. You will see clear as day, since it's daytime, he was so brazen driving around in the daytime in this.
Didn't have a damn care in the world.
Car. So many traffic cameras catch images of him just driving. You can see like his, left arm, he's driving like this. And you can even see he's wearing a blue shirt. So some are close enough to see him who's driving. But I can see why.
Wait a minute. He is wearing a blue shirt. And I thought when he was driving, he was wearing that red Deadpool shirt that they asked him about so many times. Again, we're watching Plunder. She is linked at the top of the comment section and in the description box. I have downloaded her videos from her Patreon. If you guys haven't joined her Patreon, you're missing out on so much information. But it's easier for me to play it in this format because it's hard for me to understand how to get the videos to play on here. So I'm borrowing her video just for today. I try not to do that too often because, this is her work.
By, Tuesday night, early morning hours of Tuesday, it's so dark. And Jennifer looks like she has a tent on her white Nissan.
She does.
And so even in the bright lights of certain main streets, Stephan drives through on Tuesday. I'm assuming it's Stephan. Investigators cannot confirm that it was Stephan driving Tuesday, Jennifer's car, because I see why now. That tent is so dark. And the darkness of the night, I went through all 72 videos. I could not see who was driving that Nissan. But of course, we presume it's Stephan. Whether Jennifer knew or not, that's not for me to say. But I understand why investigators say, we don't know who was driving Jennifer's Nissan. And by that Thursday, Stephan would be in jail, February 29th. At that point, investigators would have a come to Jesus moment with Jennifer and say, we don't believe Maddie is still alive. So what?
I used to tell the kids that when they would mess up or something or be in the house just running around acting crazy, I'd be like, look, we need to have a come to Jesus. I've never heard anybody else say that. That's funny. Monica, thank you for the compliment. That was so sweet of you. You guys are amazing. And you make my day brighter when we get to look at these videos and discuss them together. Thank you all for being here. I would be talking to myself if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you for that.
I'm doing for the vocals, the audio track underneath some of these videos we're going to watch coming up, his entire trip, there and back on Monday, there and back on Tuesday.
Look at her trying to look like a young little schoolgirl or something at the damn Star Wars thing, trying to impress Stephan. Miss Scorpio has been a member for 3 months. Thank you for that. That is so awesome. I really appreciate that. And Amy also, Miss Scorpio Rising, has also been a member for 3 months. Thank you for that. That is so awesome. And I really appreciate the support. I'm glad you have been here with us for 3 months. You've heard that before. What does it mean? What does what mean, sweetheart? Come to Jesus? Basically, we need to sit down and have a real serious conversation. Do we need to have a come to Jesus? What do you need? Yes. Don't do anything you're not supposed to. Okay. You do. Thank you so much, Amy and Miss Scorpio Rising. One and the same. Rhonda said Jen knew enough. She didn't want to do anything about it. I agree. You're welcome.
What I'm doing is playing Jennifer's February 29th interview, 2024. Stephan had been arrested the day before, Wednesday. Investigators are...
What game is that? Is that Dungeons and Dragons? They look so happy there in that moment. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. That was so very sweet and supportive of you, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Amy. Miss Scorpio. Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That was so sweet. That was so sweet. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That helps out so much when we get files and things. Thank you for that. That was so sweet. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, thank you for supporting us over here at the Speculating Family. Does anybody know what that game was? Oh my goodness. And Monica came through and gifted 10. I'm actually looking at my YouTube channel right now, so I can tell you who they went to. Monica, thank you so much for gifting 10 memberships. I am going to get a video going for you guys. It's been raining for the past 10 days, but the geese are honking like they're normal honks, and they're just so funny. So I'm going to get y'all a video out on the membership ones. I think I did just put out my how to make my dehydrated pumpkin flavoring, which is interesting if you're interested. Monica, thank you for gifting 10 memberships. Those went to Ebony Eyes, Drama Llama, Bike Account, Chris Lamontague, Kazarina Courtney Al Maramont, Pam B, Dusty Pink Skies, Tracy with an I, and Ricky Slade, and Heather. If you were gifted from Monica and you are aware you were gifted, please tell Monica thank you. Thank you so much, Monica. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. And I will grab the crazy train to pick y'all up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you, Monica. Going off the rails on the crazy train. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. So sweet. Yeah, very few people are gray. We've got mostly green chat. It's awesome. Cindy says, I had a boss that used to open every staff meeting with, does anyone need to come to Jesus meeting? And he ended it with, if all hearts and minds are clear, we can end now. That's kind of sweet. I like it. It's called Caton? Caton? It's kind of like Risk. Interesting. I've never seen a game like that. You need to build settlements and armies. Oh, of course you do. How did I know that it was a game like that? I don't know. It's interesting to see them in this moment looking happy. Cat's laying over there on the little cat bed. I haven't ever seen this picture. So sad.
Going to confront her about her weird attitude, how she seems like she's taking up for Stephan, what he did, what she knows about what he did during, the first few days when Maddie was missing.
Hannah said, new members keep all arms and legs within the carriage. The speculating family take no responsibility for loss of limbs on the crazy train. Absolutely correct. Yeah, she's a watcher. It's a family game, not nearly as long as Risk. Interesting. She watches how they play. She didn't like to play. Yep. Oh, thank you, Brenda. I appreciate that. Cracker. Remember, everyone got to hold on tight. Y'all hold on. Amy, are you leaving? It was a weird comment, wasn't it?
I'm going to tell her, I'm sorry, we don't think Maddie's alive anymore. So it's a lot. And I find it so interesting. Now, this audio is something also recently sent to me by Kissimmee. Remember, I created that post. If you follow me on Patreon, it said something like, supposedly Kissimmee's entire case file.
Yeah, that's what I just downloaded to look through. But I FOIA requested that as well. And
Because I still don't think it's everything, because I kind of calculated.
And they sent me everything. Like I requested everything from Kissimmee, so I have the case file, right? But they like sent it to me immediately, and I didn't see anything new. So and like in my request, I said specifically, I said now that Stephan Sterns has taken a plea deal, if there's anything that could not be released before that can be released now, can you please send it to me? I'm willing to pay an invoice, because you usually have to say that because they want to charge you for shit. Whatever. Okay, I'll pay the invoice. And they sent me, like, not even an hour later, I had a whole file, that whole file that she just pulled up that I re-downloaded, because it looks like she's got it better organized than I did. And it didn't, I mean, I couldn't really go through it that detailed, but to send it right back to me within an hour, I'm like, okay, well, they haven't been through this. It's got to be exactly what I already have. So I downloaded hers. She's got it very much more organized and calculated, way better. See, I've got to get better at these things. And I'm learning. Sandra said, I think I'm behind, but in Florida, you can do a signature bond. No money is out of pocket if you have good credit. Interesting. I've heard that you could do that places. It is a creepy picture where you can see in the reflection of the sunglasses. Vera said, he's pathetic, flabby loser. Why would anyone want him around? Plus, no money, no job, no nothing. Oh, and he's SA-ing your freaking daughter, right? Cuban said, I think he had her hooked on other prescriptions, but that's my opinion. She just keeps talking about sleep. Reminds me of over-medication. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I know. I'm trying to get some, Tom. If I go near the end of Plender's video, I can hear Jen and the detective unredacted interview. Really? Interesting. We'll have to go down to the end. But
And some things like are missing. I just feel very particular about getting all the evidence. But one thing I did notice in this,
I've gotten a lot of unredacted interview. I wonder if it's anything new.
This audio, we now hear Maddie's name, which previously was redacted. Of course, certain privacy information is still going to be redacted out. You'll hear silent portions, but it does give us a better viewpoint. Now that I've stepped away from this case a little bit and I've come back, it gave me better perspective on what Jennifer's saying.
Stephan? No, I haven't seen him or talked to him since. You guys took us down and separated us. I haven't heard anything. Pretty much not picking up phone calls from my phone anyway, because it's either reporters or I've had a lot of scam calls, people screaming in the background going, help me, and hanging up.
Oh my God.
But that's not Maddie's voice.
That shit is ridiculous. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you feel the need to get a phone number of somebody who's missing a child or a child just died, even for this boogly-eyed monster right here who we allege who I think knew what was going on to her daughter and some reason condoned it, even she don't deserve somebody to call and be like, help me while her child's missing or her child just died. Like, that shit's sick. Please fucking stop.
I would say yes, but like typical parenting stuff, like if she didn't clean her room when she was supposed to, like, coming down on her for something like that. Was it like anger out of the blue or anger, like random anger? No. It was always like Maddie wasn't doing what she was supposed to be doing, kind of thing. So we would come down.
And when you say come down on her,
she even mentions her friends that live off of Old Canoe Creek Road. Jennifer mentions her friends living off that road, and it's very close to where Maddie would be found that following day, Friday, March 1st, the first time I ever made a video about Maddie. And even when I made the first video, she was still missing. And then by the time I was editing and publishing, I had to do an intro. I remember to say, oh, she's been found, unfortunately not alive. So it's sad. In that interview, I don't want you to get confused. They talked to Jennifer a lot about Stephan's Wednesday trip down to Northport. Now, we don't have that footage. I don't believe I have that footage. I have so many videos. I don't know. You can look in there. Maybe you can find it because the naming conventions aren't great. We do see the street signs. We do see the street names on certain videos. And we do see on just a couple, just a handful, we will see the date and time up at the top. However, that date and time doesn't correspond to the time that's in the documents that police say Stephan was captured. So I don't know if the red light camera time is not set to local time, perhaps, just like the body cam, sometimes it's set to the GMT Zulu UTC standard time, and you have to kind of do calculations based on what time zone you're in. So that could account for those discrepancies, but it was really difficult putting these all together and trying to figure it out. But as an explainer, before I let you watch the whole thing, all the trips, we will see footage starting just after Stephan left his condo at 12:44 p.m. Monday. So it's almost 1 p.m. Monday. The actual video footage starting what they gave me starts at 12:49 p.m. So we're going to.
So they didn't give her the footage where he's driving around that morning with Maddie, and then he puts Maddie in the car in the trunk at the hotel at 9:35 or 9:40 something. He moved her from the front passenger seat to the trunk. Then he went back to the apartment and sat with Jen. She left for her blood appointment and then came back, and they were supposed to go pick Maddie up from school, but he said that he needed to go run some errands and go buy some game shops and see if they had any new cards out. And so he left at around 1 p.m. That's where we're starting. So at this point, Madeline was in the trunk. He leaves and he goes out and he places her body allegedly where it's found, and then he gets the flat tire and comes back. That's the footage we're looking at. So by this time, unfortunately, Maddie is in the trunk. I don't think they're going to give anybody videos that actually show Maddie because she's a minor. Ooh, we got some comments. Dolly said, I suspect that as well. She played dumb and was dumb to somehow got away with it. I hope she'll be held accountable. I think that the state of Florida has their man behind bars, and so they're done with it, honestly. They were in such close quarters and nobody worked, so how could she not know? Exactly, Monica. She takes so many pics of herself, and maybe she didn't have such low self-esteem after all. I barely take any pics of myself ever. That's a good point, Veronica. I don't ever take pictures of myself because I don't feel like I'm very pretty. But I mean, yeah, even in family photo, like pictures of the kids and things, I'm always taking pictures of the kids, but I'm never in any of them. It's an interesting point. Blue Jay said Stephan Sterns' dad paid rent for him. What a pansy. What did he ever pay for? What a waste of space. I agree. Even when I had severe depression 16 years ago, what would snap me out of it instantly and I could put it to the side was anything to do with my children or a problem that needed to be dealt with. Yeah, because, we have to adult, right? Like, we can't just sit and waller in it and just, shut off the world. Like, you've got to get up. You got to be there for their kids. For your kids, it's not their fault that you're upset or sad or whatever. Stop. What? What'd I do? I think Maddie was very confused and she was young and not understanding exactly what was going on, and Stephan Sterns manipulated. I agree. Hey, Miss Kimmy. If Jen is institutionalized, there could be a hold on her until she is released. Maybe, but again, I think that the state of Florida has said that they have their man guilty of everything and he's behind bars, so case closed, honestly. And it sucks because she needs to be held accountable. I don't know, man.
track him all the way driving out to, Old Hickory Tree Drive,
I
different
bet you
snippets that
are.
caught him as he just traveled along the same route. And then when he heads back around 2:11 p.m., notably with a spare tire on his car, that rear driver's
Yep.
side tire, you can very much see, okay, this is like a spare tire on there. It really helps us distinguish his car. And the Lincoln has a really distinguishable grille, so it helps.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you look for the donut because at this point he has the donut on the car. Dandelion said, anyone notice how long it took Jen to find a recent picture of Maddie the night law enforcement was called? I did. And her birthday party was just the day before. And she pulls up a picture from the birthday party. So, like, how did it take you that long to find that picture? Michelle, good to see you. Jen Soto was so involved. I went back and rewatched the interrogation. How boldly she dismisses the essay is horrific on every level. I agree. And I think the police thought so too. But again, the state of Florida has their man behind bars, so I don't think we'll see any charges. Yeah, DCF would be up our butt if that happened to any one of us. I agree. As they should be, right, Lori? Like, yeah, as they should be. So why not for her? Basil, I saw what you said, Vera. That was really sweet. He is all fluffed up over here in front of the AC unit. I just gave him some crackers a minute ago. He's looking at me. He knows I'm talking about him. Come on, anyone is better looking than Jen, and she takes all the pics, even makes faces pretending it's funny, but there are so many pics. It's weird to me. I agree. I didn't catch that, but it was a good one too. She was absent. I'll just call it. Didn't make her birthday. Didn't see her since Wednesday. Distancing as fuck. I agree. I didn't think the sex was bad. Yeah, she said the sex isn't evil, but the homicide was.
Let me pick out his car, his parents' car, that is. That Monday, he arrived back at the condo at 2:43 p.m. Remember, just in time to miss Jennifer. She had already left to go get Maddie from school. She left home at like 2:30 or whatever that day because she likes to get there early, sit and wait for Maddie, be the first in line of the parents. He was such a busy bee. Nearly 12 hours later, Stephan was up and at him again, driving. This time it's Tuesday, February 27th, 2024. It's 3:16 a.m. Wait till we talk about all the stuff he's done, that Monday morning so far. So it was quite a long day for him. No wonder he was exhausted. And Lord knows what happened Sunday night. We still don't know. When Jennifer sent Stephan and Maddie off to room number 4 because she needed a good night's sleep. Anyway, you can tell how sarcastic.
While having the next 2 days off of work. She needed a good night's sleep so she could have the next 2 days off of work. No, ma'am. What do I got for that?
She said, something ain't right. I said, oh, man. She said, oh, man.
Something ain't right. You're sending her to bed because you need a good night's sleep and you got the next 2 days off of work. Stop it. Stop it right damn now. My daughter got taken from my daughter when she was under a year old because my daughter got in a fight in the front yard while the baby was in her crib asleep. Jesus, stop it. Kelly, I'm sorry. That's just ridiculous. And then we got Jen Soto out here acting like this. Like, stop it. AM, good to see you. Justice is not complete for Maddie until her mom is held accountable. I agree. Good night's sleep for training for a new job and 2 days off, for fuck's sake. Exactly. I dare anyone to rewatch Jen Soto's interrogation where she learned of the essay. The story is so painful. Maddie's father needs to sue Jen Soto to get her deposed. I hope he does. I really do. Hey, Anita. I hope you're having a good Thursday, sweetheart. And I'm sorry that happened again, Kelly. But that's just ridiculous. That's so stupid. But then we got Jen Soto out here acting like this. All right, she continues to talk. I'm going to skip it ahead. I don't want to sit here and just play her whole entire video. We're looking at the camera footage, so I'm going to skip it to right before that, and then we'll watch the camera footage. Because, again, I want to give you guys a reason to go check her out. And, again, she is linked in the description box as well as pinned to the top of the chat box. And if you have not checked out her Patreon, I'm telling you right now, you're missing out. I just dropped her link to Patreon again.
He even has a faux pas about that. She was like, Stephan said, he was going to reset his phone. I mean, he was going to update his phone. So I feel like she was even messing up the story.
Yep.
So that's where we are going to start. I'm going to let you start watching it all now. So where we begin is they don't show us like him leaving the condo. Certain stuff they just didn't give us. But when he gets down to a certain point past the condo, like 5 minutes later after he leaves at 12:49, that's when we're going to catch up and see Stephan, passing that eastbound camera, traveling towards St. Cloud, going on to Dyer and all the way down. And they're like, look, they're going to question Jennifer. Does Stephan know St. Cloud? How does he know that area? And now I see why they were questioning her so heavily about St. Cloud and all this stuff, because on Wednesday, February 28th, they got all this stuff. They tracked his patterns. They were able to see what the heck he was truly doing, possibly even before the 28th, but I saw the 28th on here. They already knew this guy didn't drop Maddie off. These cameras tell a different story.
Monica said she didn't say she was off on those days to the cops, did she? I don't know. I can't remember if she did or not. But I think the cops knew. Like, if we look at Detective Kevin and that interrogation where they kind of go hard at her, I think he says that you needed a good night's sleep, but you have the next 2 days off work. I don't know if she told them, though, or if they pulled her record by that point. Teresa said Jen does have anything to pay in a lawsuit. Social Security won't pay lawsuit judgments. Anyone else would have been charged with neglect. It's not a good example, as it's saying Jen's lack of care for her daughter is acceptable. It's not. I agree. And we live the next county over. Good gracious. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. You live one county over from Jen Soto. Your daughter gets a DCF investigation and baby taken because she got in a fight in the front yard and the baby's inside in the crib asleep. But one county over, Jen Soto can neglect her daughter and have this SA going on for years and nothing happens. Well, I mean, maybe to be fair, if Madeline was not deceased, then DCF probably would have taken Maddie out of the situation. Like, let's say Maddie lived, I would say DCF probably would have took her out of that situation. Even if Jen Soto made Stephan leave and all that. But because Madeline was dead, Child Protective Services didn't get involved because the child, unfortunately, was already deceased. No, she didn't, said Brenda. She didn't tell them? It's not about the money. It's to get the treasure chest, her deposition, another bait prosecutor. Oh, interesting. Maybe. We'll have to see, Michelle. That's crazy, Kelly. If she had other children, they would have been removed from her care too. I think so, yeah. All right. Let me play this. I'll sit here and talk all day and we'll never watch
So they
it.
really questioned her about St. Cloud towards the end of this audio coming up. So we're going to watch all of that and then we will come back and close it out.
Hey, Eddie.
Okay, first let's look at the path that we don't have video for. Stephan Sterns was leaving his apartment, Santa Maria Drive. He's going to make a right, then another right onto Dyer Boulevard, and end up making that left, we'll see in a second, onto Vine Street.
See, this is, she really broke this down. I've got to get better at stuff like this. Plunder did an amazing job with this.
Okay, so at first I was trying to drag the little blue man or the little man onto the blue street, Santa Maria Drive, where the actual Venetian Bay Village condo is, but you can only drag it onto Dyer Boulevard. So then I kind of turned around and I was kind of backing up. I wanted to see the beginning of where Stephan Sterns may have exited. At first I thought the condos were on the street, but it does say he exited the rear and then he definitely drove this way. However, there must not be any traffic cameras, I presume, on Dyer Boulevard, or none that were garnered by police. But he was driving along Dyer Boulevard, you know, maybe freaking out.
Yep.
Thinking again and again of what he had just done hours earlier and the position he put himself in. So
Yep.
we're going to go all the way down until he makes the left turn onto Vine Street. Vine Street. And that's where we will pick up with the surveillance. So I was doing like the little Google Maps thing, and you know how it kind of gets you out of your the lane you want to go, but it's very helpful in matching it up with the document and how police tracked Stephan Sterns. It's amazing. He was trying to hide, but the big eye in the sky saw him and
Yep.
his dark deeds.
Yep.
So Stephan just traveled along and along until it was time to turn left onto Vine. So at some point he would have gotten in the left lane, and this is where the video picks up, and it's great to see certain landmarks so I can match up this video, the Charlies. It helps me match up with the video that they gave me, and now we can see him really turning.
Now, like I said, I've requested these videos, but I think that I'll just make a post and share out her video because she really did a great job with this. I don't think I could do this great of a job even if I tried really hard. She's really got this figured out, so I will probably just make sure to share her video again because Plunder just really did amazing with this. Hey, Nicole, good to see you. What did Tom say? Power drill gonna do a factory reset on Stern's booty. That booty bandit's gonna get a hold of that ass. Miss Scorpio, thank you for gifting a membership. That was so very sweet and supportive of you, and I really appreciate that. That membership went to TR. TR, if you are here and you are aware you were gifted from Miss Scorpio, please tell Miss Scorpio thank you. You've been so sweet and supportive today, and I really appreciate that, sweetheart. TR, I'm going to grab the crazy train to pick you up on the way to Speculation Station. Make sure to keep all of your faculties about you because I am not responsible for my crazy train. Thank you. We're losing our load over there, losing all the pipes off the crazy train, people falling in and out. You better hold on tight. If you got to get off, you got to tuck and roll. Tuck and roll. Aw. Y'all rock my world. Thank you. Anita said, pardon if this sounds icky, but what if during these moments Stearns was living out his ultimate fantasy? He was into the necro thing. His sick mind might have thought he and Maddie were on a date. Well, see, that it okay. When Madeline was found, her body was in the prone position. Now, the prone position basically means how she was found was laying on her stomach with her face in the dirt. And considering that Stephan drove out there to where she was at even after he placed the body, and we know this because he goes all the way down there in Jen's car, it makes me question what he was doing. I thought that she was placed in the fetal position as if to say, you know, I thought that maybe he carried her out there in his arms and set her down, possibly cried and said, oh my God, I'm so sorry, because I really thought that he loved her and thought they were in some kind of relationship, even though that's really sick and twisted. And I would still want him to be sentenced to death for that because that's real fucked up. However, I thought that there would have been more care to it, okay? And then finding out that she was placed just laid out with her damn face in the dirt, and he had been out there and he's got the necrophilia thing. I mean, I'm sure you can gather what I'm saying here. It made me just despise him a little bit more. No, you're fine, Anita. We've talked about things like that. I do too, unfortunately, Teresa. Yeah, I think a lot of people were wondering about that. Yeah, he went in the direction where Maddie was. I don't think that anybody can place him. So to be fair, Vero, you're right. He went down to his parents' house. He tried to connect to the Wi-Fi and he was in the general area where Maddie was. I don't think there's cameras out there where Maddie's body was found, like on the roads, like what we're about to see. So I can't say definitively that he went back out there, but I mean, I think he did, honestly. Considering that he left like several times just to drive around in the middle of the night, I think he definitely went back there. And I think he did that. I think he did that, unfortunately. And it just pissed me off a little bit more. Like, I thought maybe it was an accident. He placed her out there. He might have cried and said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I loved you so much." Even though that's wrong and sick and I would want him to be put to death for abusing her, I thought it was a little different, you know? Hey, Parabola. I have a hard time believing that weak, soft piece of shit could carry anything. Well, evidently he carried her body out to the car. All right, let me play this video. I'll sit here and talk to y'all all day, and we'll never get
All
anywhere.
right, this is a blink and you might miss Stephan Sterns kind of moment, but you can see that silver Lincoln MKZ turning left. Remember, this is Monday, February 26, 2024.
You're right. The trail cameras did catch him in the area, Hannah, UK. I don't know if it was that night though. I know it was that day that he placed her body out there because we get pictures of the trail cams, and you're right about that, Hannah. I'm wondering if the trail cams caught him that night, and that would tell us definitively. Um, Krakus said, in my opinion, he dumped her there as he was scared for himself. I agree. And I just thought it was different when I found out, when I thought originally that she was in the fetal position. Jen told him that law enforcement was on him, so I don't think he would risk going to Maddie just for something stupid. I don't know. No, he wasn't charged for that. That's near Kissimmee Airport. Yeah, they did. Oh, wait a minute. They found his DNA on her chest and under her fingernails, I believe. I'd have to check the paperwork. She had blood in private areas, but it was her blood, if I remember correctly. Dolly, thank you.
The same day that Maddie was reported missing. Here's a slow-mo, closer up view. You see him turning, and you shudder to think that Maddie could potentially be in that trunk at that point. We know at this point, because this is 12:49, and we'll start again. Look at him turning again. I've kind of put a pause there. He had already been home. Remember, Jennifer Soto had her blood appointment, and she made it back home, I believe, around 11 a.m. The timeline's not clear between these two, but we know at some point Stephan and Jennifer were back in the condo together, 11 a.m., noonish, whatever. Stephan Sterns leaves 5 minutes prior to this video. He left through the rear of the condo. Cops had already caught him on surveillance video dumping all sorts of things that morning, you know, probably Maddie's backpack and other things in the dumpster.
You know, I agree. Hannah said, no, I believe he went back to pleasure himself with her. And I wouldn't think that had it not been for the ex-girlfriend that was like, the only time he was fully at attention with her was when she laid on her stomach and pretended to basically be dead, just not move, not do anything while he had relations with her. And that was the only time he was fully at attention. That told me that, yeah, he probably did. No, he wasn't charged, just speculation on my part and thinking about other sexual serial homiciders who go back like a pattern if they're into that. Yeah. Her blood appointment, like allegedly saying plunder. Yeah. When I saw the pictures of the storage unit, there was a lot of wires hooked up to the PC. I immediately thought it was where he traded and made his money. Monica, I did too. And then my moderator and like best friend Hio called on air one day because I was like, that is where the hub was. That's where he was doing the dark web stuff. Well, she called and that specific storage unit, and they said that that specific storage unit that there's pictures of, that is their security system. So it belonged to the storage unit facility. That was not his storage unit. I don't know where pictures of his storage unit were, but allegedly that was per the storage unit facility that we called on air that day. I couldn't tell you what live stream it's in though. The worker said that that was their security camera equipment. Yeah, were you here that day? Yeah, she was like, hold on. And she called because I was like, I'm going to have to call when I get off here and figure that out. And she called on air. I bet he asked her to take cold showers to have, oh God. That's a crazy thought, Abellis, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did. Oh, the ex-girlfriend? It wouldn't surprise me.
And then noon, he tried to reset his phone. He claims he did it accidentally. And he claims Jennifer and Stephan, they talked about nothing, and Jennifer was there when he reset his phone accidentally. But all this time, there's no flat tire yet. All right, so Stephan on Monday continued on. He turned onto West Vine Street. We're going to see him coming up on the left-hand side this time, but he's going to be blocked by a burgundy minivan. And I can see the Panama extended stays on the left and the Queen of Pawns pawn shop. Now here he comes. There he is. I paused it. See that he's in the center lane and he went by. I'll play it again. Now it's kind of slow. Of course, the more I zoom in, the more the video degrades, it degrades.
So he's right here, I do believe. I think it's this car.
So there he is.
Right there?
And then he continues on his way, not very much speeding. He was probably driving really carefully, and now he's gone out of the frame.
And he was driving carefully because I'm thinking Madeline's body was in the truck at that time. Bellis, no, you're good. I mean, it's a possibility, and I hadn't even thought about that. I blame her more. He wouldn't have been in Maddie's life. You talking about Jen? Cara said, in my honest opinion, I think Jen told him, you better wipe that phone when we go into the station, only because she said, I told him if his phone is messing up to do a reset. I think she did too, and I agree. However, I think she knew what was on the phone and told him to wipe it. I think she did too. And I wonder if there was stuff on her phone that she actually wiped. Because they talk about Brian Koberger resetting his shit, and they only got part of what he had. Like, I wonder if she's actually a lot smarter than she pretends to be. Accidentally factory reset that statement got me hooked on the case when we didn't even know anyone's name. That very first video of this case, that factory reset. Yep. Jen is the master plan of the script, everything after the fact. Takes a real psychopath to drive around with a body in the vehicle. Yeah, of the child that you have been freaking raping for over half her fucking life.
Going about their days, of course, not thinking some crazy evil man has his girlfriend's daughter there with him. Well, already in heaven, I believe, at that point. But people going about their days not knowing what this man is doing. Now, I want to play some of Jennifer's interview snippets as we look at all these videos as well. I got sent so many, and I want to track it all, track his movements. Okay, so we can see that Stephan Sterns' vehicle, at least his parents' vehicle, had no sunroof. That helps me place him. It's silver, it's four-door. He continues down near John Young Parkway and passes this Kabayayan Grill Filipino restaurant. So I believe that's what that is up in the top right-hand corner. And he's still in the center lane. We can't see him yet. I mean, these cops did a great job pouring through all these traffic camera videos to find Stephan and his movements. They really got justice for Maddie. So now I was looking closely and I was checking for his car. At first I thought, oh, is that it right there? But that has a sunroof, so it can't be him. I thought, is that the one? Nope, another sunroof. And so I started looking, there's that beat up truck that was by him before. So it helps me place what cars were near him before. And now he should be coming up right there at the stop line, that crosswalk.
You see it right here?
No sunroof. He's blocked by the other burgundy red car. It's different than the car before. So I slowed it down here.
Right there.
So we'll see him coming up. I don't think Stephan Sterns' vehicle had that much of a tent on it. Right there.
Yep.
That looks like it's him. And he's probably thanking God that he didn't have a sunroof, because that would have made what was going on even more visible. But even without a sunroof, cops were still able to catch him. They did a
great job. Anita said, didn't the detective ask Jen if she knew someone at St. Cloud? I think they did. And then when they did, she went silent and said nothing. She did say she knew, she had a friend in St. Cloud, and then we got the interview from them later. He's legit on one of the top 4 perpetrators and monsters that skis me out. Everything about him, I feel for Maddie. I do too. Hey, Stoic. Good to see you. Stressful shit. Time for me to get off the crazy chain. All right, sweetheart. AM said, what gets me mad the most is the feeling that Jen Soto thinking and celebrating that she has gotten away with the crime. I know, and there's probably nothing that we can do. Who was Young of the Parkway? I don't know who it was named after. They asked Jen if she thought he actually factory reset by accident, and she's like, well, not sure because I have an Android. Oh, I don't have an Android. Thank you for that. It makes me mad too.
Great job tracking him. And I want to go back and play a little bit of the interviews again to see what Jennifer had to say. What did she know about Stephan's whereabouts during this time? Anything? And by the way, this footage was captured at 12:53 that Monday, about 3 minutes after the previous footage we just watched. So they were able to pick him up as he moved on down the lane. Okay, now it's nearly 6 minutes later down the road. Stephan is once again caught on the camera. It's at East Earlo Bronson Memorial Highway. You can tell there's a Heritage Commons in the background. I had to track it to see where I can find him. He'll be in this left-hand side. Coming up, I'll slow it down. Again, kind of in the center lane. He's going to be near a semi-truck.
Let's
And
see.
so 192 is the same as this East Earlo Bronson Memorial
There's a
Highway.
semi.
Here's the truck.
Oh, yep, there he
That's
is.
him. I'm going to slow it down.
Right
I believe
there.
that's him.
Yep,
And there we go. Because in other videos, we
right
will
there.
see, I believe he has like an easy pass kind of behind his rear view mirror. You can
Oh, he does. He does because they sent a paper out when I first got the information and it said strange tolls. And it was tolls from the Easy Pass, and they sent a paper that shows where he went through the Easy Pass. He absolutely does have an Easy Pass thing behind the mirror.
tell. There will be other passes coming up. We've got a lot of these videos to go through
Look at him.
where it looks like you can see Stephan more clearly. You can see the blue shirt he's wearing.
Yep.
I'm still going through all these videos, but I'm sure he was driving very carefully. Remember, he said on his interview, oh, I don't know what was taking over me. You know, it's like, I don't know what was
Listen to her imitating him. Plunder is so awesome.
transporting her, and he kept blaming it on God or whatever. But I'm sure he didn't want to get stopped. Can you imagine if Stephan had gotten stopped by a cop? You know, you've seen some of those body cam videos where it's like, cops find a surprise in this person's trunk.
Monday morning.
Amy said one of my phones is an Android and my other is an iPhone. I can really sometimes. I use Android. Anita said, was he the burgundy car and white car in the last traffic camera shot? So no, he drives the blue Lincoln car. It's like a really light pale blue. I'll show it to you in the next shot. I have a list too. Letitia Stout, I didn't forget you. Stephan Sterns is definitely on my top though. I agree. I seriously hope Colorado law enforcement finally looks into Nicole Kissinger. She's absolutely involved. Do you think so?
When you were asleep, Stephan and Maddie were upstairs, and she's going to school. Run me through that morning again.
Monday morning, I was woken up by Stephan Sterns coming into
So that's his car, Anita. It looks like that.
my bedroom. But I'm not sure who it was. Who was in the kitchen? Could have been Stephan. Could have been Maddie.
Okay.
Could have been one of my roommates.
Okay, so you'll notice from those brief snippets I'm playing, we can now hear Maddie's name in some of those interviews. So they sent me
Look at that picture of her where she's trying to look older. And look how little she is right there. Blowing kisses, that baby.
supposedly what is the entire Kissimmee case file of evidence. You can tell, I guess I didn't
Get
really
off the
believe it
screen.
was everything
Yeah,
because
it
I feel
looks
like some
great.
things were still missing, but I did put all that audio,
Yep.
I think the whole zip file up on Patreon. So
Okay, Cara,
check
have a
the
good
link
day.
below. It says supposedly Kissimmee's case file on Stephan Sterns. Back then I said no CCTV footage, etc. But now we're about to look at some more of Stephan traveling on down past the church. He's now going to be.
I'm going to play one more. We're going to look at this one, and then we'll go over to why Stephan is scared in prison, allegedly.
At the intersection of Bill Beck Boulevard, 1 minute later, and East Earlo Bronson Memorial Highway.
Now, I thought it was this car right here, but it's not, because that one has a sunroof. Remember, she said his car does not have a sunroof.
So this is like 192. Remember, they talk about 192 so much. I wanted to find audio snippets of what Jennifer kept saying about 192 and Stephan saying about 192. It just kept coming up. 192. That's where we are here. And wait till you see some later footage. It's amazing. It was pitch black, totally dark, but they caught Stephan's license plate. We'll get to that at some point.
And that was what I showed you earlier. That was one of the first ones that I had started with the recording. Like, it's pitch black and you can only see headlights, but somehow the cops knew that that was him.
Just going through all of these now, along with the audio and putting any good snippets of anything I find in here as we watch. Okay, but as Stephan makes his way down 192, we believe this is the point where before he gets the flat tire, he's searching for a place to place Maddie, unfortunately. So the traffic is coming in the left-hand lane. Again, he's going to be near that semi-truck. So once we see that semi-truck, it'll be easier to spot.
So you see the semi-truck right down here, the same one we just saw. He's going to be close to that. The 18-wheeler that's white with the gray trailer.
Stephan. And again, I'll
This one
slow it
right
down
here.
for you. And he looks like he stays in that center lane, not with those lights blinking. That's not him. The fact that Stephan does not have a sunroof really helped.
Here's the
And that
semi.
Lincoln emblem in the front. Here it comes behind
I
that
think
truck
that's
to the
him
right
right
side of the
there.
truck. I'm slowing
Right
it down.
here.
It really helps spot this
That's
car.
him
I
right
think that's
there.
him right there. We'll slow it down. No sunroof. We'll get
Right
closer.
there.
That looks like him. That emblem is pretty easy to spot, along with, I believe, his easy tag in the front. So he drove along 1 p.m. The weather's pretty clear, and it's interesting how silver cars do reflect differently
Oh,
because we
wow.
have a lot of videos to watch. The color looks different in different lighting. I am amazed at all this video footage they were able to find, and again, they had him dead to rights.
In that statement, you say you saw Maddie.
I know. I misremembered. I didn't see
There
her.
he is at night.
Okay, this part I will admit I got confused. So it's about 6 minutes later since our last stop. The next entry says at 1:06 p.m. there was an LPR tag hit, license plate tag hit, license plate reader tag hit for Stephan's vehicle, his plate IYLL82 at St. Cloud Commons near Simmons Road and Bronson Memorial Highway 192. So I couldn't necessarily find that video anywhere. I see 2 videos I have that claim to be LPR videos, but they are both at night.
Right.
So I couldn't find either plate on this first little video. It's about 1 minute. However, coming up, you will see Jennifer's tag. Now, her tag is a little bit more clear. I totally saw it. Her 2022 white 4-door Nissan Sentra Florida tag NVJS91. So look out for that. It's coming up in a little bit. These license plate readers are really
Me too,
slick, though.
Hannah.
I mean, my goodness, it's so dark, but you can see as the cars go by, it kind of just highlights the plates and captures it.
So these are specifically for reading the license plate. Hannah, Mr. Speculating, we'll be driving and I'll be like miss a turn and it'll be a road that we drive like at least 3 times a week. And he's like, my God, how do you not know where you're at? I could get lost in a paper bag as well.
It's coming up, but obviously I don't think this is the, 1:06 p.m. on Monday footage. It looks like it's late at night.
Yep.
It looks like it's from a different time, but I'm going to put this here anyway, just because I need a marker in this place to let you know there was a license plate reader hit at 1:06 p.m. And now Jennifer's tag is coming up. I'm going to slow it up for you. So you will see they weren't able to determine who was driving Jennifer's vehicle. They believe, of course, it was probably Stephan Sterns and not Jennifer.
That's going to be Jennifer's
There it
car.
is.
And they make your license plate where it reflects, I guess, so them license plate readers can read that. But look how lit up that is. And it's going to say NVJ 591 or S91, and that's definitely Jennifer's car. Wow. That's amazing how them license plate readers catch that. So this was when he was driving Jennifer's car in the early morning hours of the night when they were at the hotel.
Look at that. That's her tag, clear as day. And it's amazing what they can do with these license plate reader hits.
Yep. She had an asthma inhaler.
All right. I'm going to jump over to this one. I don't know who this person is. They just showed up on my feed. I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to drop their link, but I did start watching part of it, and I'll try to do the Jumpsuit Pablo one where they're talking about he's a gang target after this, and it talks about Stephan being so afraid in prison. So I think I've got it where we need it. I'm not going to play his whole video. I'm going to ask y'all to do that. But he basically says, well, I'll start at the beginning and so you guys get an idea of who he is. Because I don't know who he is. I'm just now seeing him for the first time actually today, and I watched part of the video.
Welcome back to another episode of Raw Talk, where we get 0 F's over here. I know y'all need to do me a solid on the way into the stream. Smash that like, show your support.
Oh, see,
man.
I
Today
forget.
we are going to be talking about no other than the demon from down under. Yes, the POS, the one that should have got the hot shot, the one that skated the needle. We are talking about no other than the scum of the earth, Stephan Sterns.
Oh, let me drop his link.
So for those that don't know me, my name's Pino, over 10 years incarcerated in Florida Department of Corrections, and I'm here into the true crime to speak about what it will be like for Stephan Sterns.
Okay, I just dropped his link. I'm going to skip it ahead a little bit until we get to where he's talking about what has recently happened.
And I ultimately believe that if anybody qualified, all these true crime cases that we watch, and all these true crime cases that we cover, if anybody was like a standing qualification for that hot shot, for Florida's governor to say, you know what, take him off this planet, for the prosecutor to, pursue the DP and ultimately, not let him get away with this life sentence that he has. He is the perfect candidate. He's the perfect candidate. His charges make him the perfect candidate. And ultimately, I believe that's what should happen to him.
Now, I usually ask people before I use their video. I haven't asked him, but I pinned him to the top of the chat box so you guys can check him out. As long as I don't forget, I will drop him in the description box as well. If I forget, his name is PNO, and the video is titled Prison Chomo Stephan Sterns Request Protection. If you look that up, you'll find him. I'm going to skip it ahead just a little bit because I don't want to play his whole entire video.
Requested protective management.
Okay, hold on.
In a life full of torment inside the Department of Corrections. And from what we know so far, he's going through it. So let's get into it. So as of right now, Stephan Sterns has currently requested protective management in the Florida Department of Corrections. And I know a lot of people are like, yo, Pino, what's protective management? I've heard of protective custody. I've never heard of protective management. So in the state of Florida, there is no such thing as protective custody. It's actually called protective management. And
see, I didn't know that.
What happens with protective management is the inmate ultimately goes up to the officer and he's like, I'm scared for my life. This person, that person, this person, they want to kill me. I need to, get off this compound. I need to get out of here. You know what I mean? So they tell the officer this. The officer puts him in handcuffs. The officer brings him back to a confinement cell to where they will sit in that confinement cell for approximately 3 months before they transfer them to another prison.
So basically, if I'm understanding correctly, he's going to go to solitary confinement until they transfer him to another corrections facility, which I find really interesting. What I don't understand why they would put Stephan Sterns in GP or general population just out the gate. Like, why was he not already in protective custody, or as he said, protective management? So Pino, thank you for that. Jamie said, poor Stephan, right? Power Drill. Tom said Power Drill is in charge of management of Sterns. I wish he was. Yeah, he'd be dead in general population. Exactly, Jamie. So why did he go to general population and then have to request to go to protective management, as they call it in Florida? I think protective custody, he said it's called protective management.
So that's what Florida's protective management system is. They have over 49 major institutions in the state of Florida. And when somebody goes and requests protection, the only thing that happens is they basically go to a confinement cell for about 2-3 months, and then they transfer them to a new prison. There's no such thing as a PC yard or any of the other stuff. I don't know about other states. I'm just speaking on Florida.
See, I didn't know that about Florida. I thought that he would be in protective custody and be around people that had also committed similar crimes to his. This is really interesting to hear about.
So from what we know, Stephan Sterns is currently at CFRC, and he is on administrative confinement. Now, if you look his name up, it will say administrative confinement next to his name. Why does it say administrative confinement? Because he is not on disciplinary confinement. He voluntarily checked himself in. In prison terms, check-in means I'm scared for my life. Get me out of this dorm. And
so again, yeah, like the cops didn't put him on, like, basically in solitary. He asked to go to solitary, from what this guy is saying.
What happens again? They put you in that confinement cell. Classification will sit there and go over your file for the next 2 months and decide what prison, the next prison to send you to. Now, a lot of people could be asking, who is after Stephan Sterns? Who made him check in? Who made him hit the door? And I'm here to tell you, it could be anybody. Literally, it can be anybody.
Yeah, when you go to general population and you're around guys, I mean, as you guys know, I do have a criminal history. People who commit crimes aren't necessarily bad people. And if you put them in there, a lot of people have children. A lot of people do things for money to try to help support their family and their children. And, for instance, selling substances and delivering substances, et cetera, that's a lot of really fast cash, so there's a number of reasons why you could be in prison. And, these people have children as well. I mean, they're just like us. They've just done something that the state that they're in says you need to do some time in order to pay for your crime. And if he was put in general population with these people who have children, maybe the same age as Maddie, or, know what he's done, and they do because they have TV in there, they're going to be after his ass. They're going to try to take him out. That's why. Well said, the fact that Jen hasn't been charged infuriates me as someone that has raised and is raising 5 grandchildren because I knew the parents had drug issues. I can't help being upset. I agree. It makes me really upset as well. I wish she would be charged as well.
Because the fact of the matter is, this man's charges are so nasty and so gruesome and so sickening that anybody, and there are a lot of fathers in prison.
Yep.
Anybody with the right mind and a righteous mentality would think about what this sicko did and want to extract revenge.
Okay, calm down. So you got that. Extract revenge. I'm going to jump over to Jumpsuit Pablo real quick because he said Stephan begs for help first week in prison and see what he said. So again, we just watched PNO. He's at the top of the chat box. Make sure you subscribe to him if you have not. And I'm about to grab Jumpsuit Pablo's.
Stephan Sterns hasn't even made it through his doctor.
Okay, hold on. No. I need that for dinner, baby. Excuse me. All right, let me grab Jumpsuit Pablo, and I'm going to drop it in the chat, and this is what Jumpsuit Pablo has to say on it.
Their checkup in prison before begging the staff for help and protection, and he's been given it. Well, kind of, because
What?
trust me, it's not much help, and it's only temporary. It will not last forever, and it will only make his inevitable return into general population around all those other inmates that much more dangerous for him. And one group in particular already have their eyes locked on him. I'll explain
Is it the Bloods?
everything. Let's get started.
Okay.
You're never going to see the light of day again. You will spend the rest of your life inside because he pled guilty to heinous, awful, evil
Oh, shit, son.
things. Probably the worst charges any criminal who is going to prison could go to prison for. At least in terms of your safety and how that's going to be viewed by other inmates, right? Now,
Damn.
Stephan Sterns didn't make it 2 freaking weeks before he got there at the evaluation center. Every inmate, and he's in Florida, if you don't know, every inmate has to go through this evaluation and intake in pretty much every state prison system in America. You know, they're going to do their little doctor checkup and your psych evaluation and see if there's any medication you're prescribed to. And
They do that in county too. Again, this is Jumpsuit Pablo. He's pinned to the top of the chat box.
legally have to give you that and just blah, 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 all that stuff. They got to see if you're in a gang. They got to see if you're just off your rocker and you need to go, to some like loony bin.
Yeah.
Stephan immediately arrived at this intake center and said, "Hey, help, help. I need help. I'm scared. Oh, they're going to get me. I need some protection." That's what
It looked like a raccoon.
That's what old Stephan said. No, but seriously, he did. Here's the proof right here. And a lot of this information I want you to know is based off my own personal experience of 10 years in prison.
Look at Jumpsuit running the store. What? Jumpsuit Pablo running the store in there like Austin Drummond. What you got all that damn canteen for, sir? Hey, Bogart. Look at Jumpsuit Pablo running the damn canteen store. All right, the proof, he said, here's the proof right here at the very bottom. It says confinement status, administrative confinement.
I want you to know is based off my own personal experience of 10 years in prison. Also the collective insight from fellow YouTuber Pino, who was actually a former inmate of Florida state prison systems. And he knows exactly how this stuff works and what's going on there.
So Jumpsuit Pablo got his information from the person we just watched. Interesting.
He's got a great video about Stephan Sterns that he posted yesterday. If you want to go check that out, I encourage you to, because he's got a lot more insight there as well. And then even I got to give credit to a inmate who is currently in the Florida State Department of Corrections, who I interviewed a while back. You can find it in this video here.
So yeah, I remember that video. Evidently Jumpsuit Pablo interviewed somebody who said they're after Stephan. Interesting. And the video is titled "Stephan Sterns has jackpot on his head by prison inmates. Video threat."
Who pretty much predicted all of this and told me, hey, this is what it's going to be for Stephan Sterns. So that's where we're coming from. And let me break down what exactly is going on. Is Stephan going to be protected forever? Yada, yada, yada. Short answer is no. Basically, in Florida, there is no PC. There is no protective custody. You can get protective management, which is a bit different. As someone who did time in South Carolina, we do have protective custody.
So basically, he's going to tell us the same thing that Piano told us, which basically, again, is going to be that it's protective management. And like Pino said, he'll stay there for 2 to 3 months and then be transferred to another prison. Miss Scorpio said, I would bet money he was assaulted, not just threatened. That is why he finally asked to be moved. I'm sure he's taken a couple of hits. I hope somebody did punch him in the face. If anybody deserved it, it was him. I'm glad, honestly. I hope his little bitch ass has to stay in confinement forever. That's what he deserves. Honestly, that's what he deserves. Or protective management. I've only known it to be protective custody. Okay. Sorry, I had to grab my mail. Hold on, let me. Oh, my window is closed. Okay. So let me pull this up. This is going to be about Richard Allen. Richard Allen's wife decided to break her silence on Richard Allen. And I found this interesting, and I figured that we would watch it today. I had to write down my timestamp. All right. I actually was just on Google, and I found this. It says, wife of convicted Delphi homicider breaks her silence. Quote, my husband is not a monster. And I think we have a video on it when this ad is over. Every second counts with ADT.
Case for the first time, we're seeing the full video of Libby German shot on the bridge before she and Abby Williams murdered. It comes as the convicted killer's lawyers file.
It is a cat. Okay.
Pilgrim here with the details. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, George. Investigators say that video was key to this case, giving them clues left by the two girls, just 13 and 14 years old, that helped solve their own murders.
Me too.
Until now, the public had only seen this snippet and heard the murderer's voice. But this 43-second clip played at the Delphi murder trial and just released on a website that supports the man convicted of the killings, Richard Allen, reveals the growing panic between the two eighth graders.
You know, there was DNA. They had 72 hairs, I believe it was, at the site that they never tested. I mean, it's shit like that. Like I've said with Richard Allen, I don't think that he did this. If you came to me and you said we have his DNA there, I would believe it. But when you're coming to court and you're saying we had 72 hairs at the site of the crime, but we haven't tested any of it, and you're going to court, what, 5, 6, 7, I don't even know how many years later. Like, what are we even doing? Something is very fishy, in my opinion. Anders said that's true. She found him sleeping on a sofa when she came home from work. Also, they admitted the video had been extremely manipulated by law enforcement, and it had. Supposedly, you couldn't even see the man walking in the first video, and they had to use AI to even see him.
Abby Williams asking her best friend Libby German if the man following them is still there. You can hear nervous whispering as Libby steps off the trail.
See, this is the path that we go down.
Abby
That we go down.
Rushing past.
She said, see, this is the path that we go down. And then Abby runs past her.
There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
You hear heavy breathing and then footsteps before the voice of their killer.
So he was interrogated, but the whole time he maintained his innocence. A lot of people are torn on this. He has been found guilty of the crime, even though I disagree. I do want to put that out there.
Police say Abby and Libby were ordered down that hill at gunpoint and killed.
Me too.
And Richard Allen was found guilty and sentenced to 130 years behind bars. That video posted one day after his attorney filed to appeal, guys.
Wow.
Really difficult to watch.
Yeah, very difficult to watch.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Eva.
All right. So the article said The wife of convicted Delphi, Indiana double homicider Richard Allen is breaking her silence on the shocking crime that catapulted her small town in the national spotlight. A new three-part series, quote, capturing their homicider, the girls on the high bridge, unquote, is a deep dive into the mysterious case, with interviews from key players, including the victims' friends and relatives. The series also reveals exclusive behind-the-scenes footage of defense attorneys as the verdict came in, and an interview
soldiers in the area that witnessed the
with Richard Allen's wife, Cathy Allen, who opens up for the first time about her marriage and her perspective on the homicides that captured the nation's attention. ABC News Studios capturing their killer, the girl on the high bridge, is streaming in its entirety on Hulu Tuesday, August 5th. A big crime in a small town. On February 13th of 2007, Abby Williams, 13, and Libby German, 14, were enjoying the day off from school and decided to walk along a hiking trail in their hometown of Delphi. They were near the Monon High Bridge when they were attacked. Their throats were slit and they were dumped in nearby woods. Wow. When they didn't come home, their frantic families called the police, who launched a massive search. Their bodies were found the next day. Quote, the whole town was devastated, unquote, Cathy Allen said. Quote, I felt so badly, especially for their mothers. Quote, I didn't know how we got through it, unquote, Libby's grandmother and guardian, Becky Pat, said. Quote, I do remember we learned how Libby died because the funeral director told us we needed to bring in clothes, and he said, you need to make sure you have a scarf. No arrests were made, but police did have a major clue. Moments before the homicides, Libby posted a photo of Abby on Snapchat showing her on the Monon High Bridge. After crossing the bridge, the girls saw a man behind them who became known as Bridge Guy. As police looked for the suspect, they released footage from Libby's phone to the public, a grainy image of Bridge Guy and an audio clip of him telling the girls to go down the hill. The first time I saw the picture of Bridge Guy, it could have been anybody, Cathy Allen said. That was Bridge Guy. Quote, my husband's not a monster. Richard and Cathy Allen married right after high school, and their daughter Brittany was born in 1994. Quote, he is a family man, unquote, Cathy Allen said. Quote, Ricky is a wonderful, caring, compassionate father, non-judgmental, very giving. He has good morals, unquote. In 2006, the family moved to Delphi, where Richard worked at the local CVS. On February 13th of 2017, Richard Allen had the day off. Cathy Allen said when she got home that evening, her husband was on the couch. When she saw the news that night that two girls were missing, she said her husband seemed surprised. Richard Allen told her he was out on the trail that day. When Cathy Allen asked him if he saw the girls, he said no, she recalled. Quote, Ricky called the police department to speak to the officers. He was more than willing to help, unquote, she said. Richard Allen met with an officer, she said, and, quote, then we heard nothing, unquote. As the Allens' lives went on, Abby and Libby's families worked through their grief and pleaded for answers. YouTube said he's guilty. I don't think so. But I respect your opinion. You think Melody Ferris is innocent? Why decapitate Libby and not Abby? Seems like there was hate and Libby was the target and Abby was collateral damage. Doesn't sound like an essay. I agree. No, they were not essayed. All right, continuing. More than 5 years ticked by. Each year, police said they were continuing to follow leads in the mysterious slayings. Then on October 13th of 2022, Cathy Allen said officers knocked on their door and took Richard Allen to the police station for an interview. When officers descended on their home with a search warrant, she said her husband consoled her as they waited outside. Quote, Ricky said something like, quote, well, it's over. It doesn't matter anymore, unquote, she recalled. On October 26th of 2022, Cathy Allen joined her husband in a police station interrogation room. She said Richard Allen told her, quote, you know I'm not capable of something like this, unquote. Capturing Their Killer, The Girls on the High Bridge is the first streaming documentary to feature newly released interrogation footage. On Halloween of 2022, police announced Richard Allen's arrest in the double homicide. He admitted he was on the trail that day, but he denied being involved. Quote, I was floored, quite honestly, unquote, Abby's mom, Anna Williams, said. Quote, we really had somebody living amongst us that had done this and never let on, unquote. Cathy Allen was also in disbelief, but admittedly believed her husband. Quote, my husband is not a monster. He's not the monster people think he is, unquote, she said. And there's a picture of her now as she spoke with them in February of 2025. No time to SA, he got spooked. Good to see you, you two bad actors. Miss Scorpio said, I feel like his confessions were more than forced. I think they basically waterboarded him and did things like that to get him to look so horrible and say these things so easily. I do too. I agree with you, Miss Scorpio. Richard Allen was on the bridge looking at the fish. Also, he wasn't immediately arrested and confessed 60 times. If he's innocent, it will be proven. And if he's guilty, he'll remain in prison, unfortunately. I agree with that too, Carolina. Why choose two girls? Lori said these homicides weren't done by Richard. I agree. Yeah, I'm glad that we can disagree as well and we can have different opinions. I've always wanted a community where even if I don't agree with the creator, it was okay. I love that we can have open opinions and discuss our differences peacefully. The case against Richard Allen. Police said they zeroed in on Richard Allen after discovering a misfiled statement. In the days after the killings, Richard Allen did self-report being at the crime scene, but that statement, quote, fell in the cracks, unquote. Carroll County Sheriff Tony Liggett testified at Allen's trial. A volunteer file clerk who arranged boxes of information and tips in the case testified that in September of 2022, weeks before Allen's arrest, she came across a file folder that was not with the others she was managing. The sheet said that 3 days after the homicide, a person listed as Richard Allen Whiteman self-reported being on the trails between 1:30 and 3:30 the day of the crime. The self-reporter listed seeing 3 girls. The volunteer testified that she wrote a lead sheet and changed the name to Richard Allen. Allen lived on Whiteman Drive, so she said she believed the names were transposed and it was misfiled. At Richard Allen's fall of 2024 trial, the prosecutor's key physical evidence was a .40 caliber unspent round discovered by the girls' bodies. Prosecutors argued that police analysis determined that the unspent round was cycled through Richard Allen's Sig Sauer Model P226. Even though the girls were stabbed, authorities believe their killers used a gun to intimidate them. Prosecutors also focused on multiple confessions Richard Allen made in jail to his psychologist, correction officers, and his wife. In one call, according to the testimony, he told his wife, quote, I did it. I killed Abby and Libby. No, you didn't, Cathy Allen said. He replied, yes, I did. Why would you say that? Cathy said, I know you didn't. There's something wrong. One psychologist testified that Richard Allen confessed to her that he ordered the girls to go down the hill and intended to RAPE them. But then he saw something, either a person or a van, and was startled. An Indiana State Police trooper testified that he believed the van belonged to a man who lived near the crime scene. The trooper said at the time it would have taken the man to drive home from work fits with the timing of the homicides. The defense argued Richard Allen's mental health deteriorated rapidly while in solitary confinement, which lasted 13 months, and that he was in a psychotic state during the confessions. Despite the emotional pain of hearing the details of the case, Libby's mom, Carrie Timmons, said, I was there for the entire trial every day. I did that for her, Timmons said. It was the least I could do. Now, I think the guy that drove the white van is the one that committed the homicides. Oh, y'all got lots of comments. If he did this, he certainly would not go to police and say he was there. That's ridiculous. I agree with that. It's frightening to pull up Megan's Law website. Why are all these monsters all around us? I don't know. It's scary, YouTube. It is. I don't know enough about this case to even have a viable opinion. He wasn't tortured. He was allowed to have tablet and communicate with his family. He made himself look crazy, eating and wiping prison walls with his own poop. Honestly, I don't think that you could eat your own poop if something wasn't wrong. Like, you could pretend and probably vomit, but I don't think that you're going to actually ingest your own feces unless something is really wrong. Vera said, I said I didn't watch the case super close, but he confessed many times he was there. I get the pressure for him to confess, but he lied to his wife too much. I get that. Thank you for being respectful to each other and for stating that your opinions are just that, your own. Thank you, Abellis. Not speaking of Richard Allen specifically, most families of perpetrators say some version of he's not a monster, he's changed, you don't know the full story, etc. You're true. You're right about that, Teresa. If he was innocent, there wasn't a soul that would make me confess for something I didn't do, especially not so many times at different times. I get that. I can respect that, Vera. You think that, but some people like to get ahead and say, oh, I was there, but I didn't do anything or see anything, but I don't believe he's guilty. Yeah, you're right about that too. The only time I ever got upset and had to leave was when somebody called in and said they felt Harley knew and had covered up for her mother. Oh, yeah, that was a bit much. I deep dived the case. Believe me, you need to look into it further before deciding he's innocent. I got what I could on it, but I'll be the first to tell you I haven't deep dived it. Well, he was shot up with Haldol, and allegedly, there's a bunch of shit that happened behind them prison walls that nobody knows about. You just got a notification? Oh my goodness. Oh no. Yeah, there's definitely doubt in the case. I agree with that. Did he? I don't know that. I thought it was the Haldol that made him confess, but I'll be the first to tell you I don't know. I would like to see them videos. If I could see the videos where he was filmed like every hour of the day in the jail, even when he's walking down the hallways and stuff, I might believe it. But then again, I mean, I'm not going to see that for other people I know are guilty, and I'm not going to ask for it. So I don't know. It's a lot. Continuing. When the case went to jury, Timmons said the 4 days of waiting for a verdict were excruciating. Cathy Allen said, I felt pretty positive that the jury was going to make the right decision because reasonable doubt was written all over the place. On my phone conversations with Ricky, I heard some joy in his voice. In November 2024, Richard Allen was found guilty on all charges: felony homicide for the killing of Abby while attempting to commit kidnapping, felony homicide for the homicide of Libby while attempting to commit kidnapping, homicide for knowingly killing Abby, and homicide for knowingly killing Libby. Cathy Allen sobbed when the verdict was read. Quote, Ricky looked confused and I wanted to stand there and scream for him, unquote, she said. The convicted double homicider was sentenced to 130 years in prison. Judge Fran Gohl said to him at sentencing, quote, I've spent 27 years as a judge and you rank right up there with the most heinous crimes in the state of Indiana. Look at, oh my goodness, look at Abby and her mama. Isn't that precious? After sentencing, prosecutor McLeland thanked Abby and Libby for helping catch their own homicider. Libby had the wherewithal to pull out her phone to know that something wasn't right and record the suspect as he walked across the bridge. McLeland said in a news conference, calling it arguably the biggest piece of evidence that we had, that recording. He praised Abby for hiding the phone from the homicider so law enforcement could find it. As Richard Allen begins his life sentence, his wife still stands in his corner. Quote, I want true justice for Abby and Libby, but it should not be at the expense of an innocent person, Cathy Allen said, holding back tears. I'm very hopeful for an appeal, she said in February. It was definitely our dream to grow old together and still is. I'm looking forward to that. I'm not giving up. But for Abby and Libby's family, the pain persists. Quote, it still feels much like it did the first day the girls were gone, unquote, Abby's mom, Anna Williams, said. Quote, you think hearing guilty is going to be enough, and you think the sentencing is going to be enough, and it's just not true, unquote, Williams said. Quote, this doesn't bring her back. The girls are still gone, unquote. Interesting. Okay, Wolfpack, have a good day, love. We're about to end it, I think. Michael, good to see you. Okay. Okay, YouTube, good to see you. He was in solitary for 6 months before he ever confessed the first time. That's torture, and I'll never believe he's guilty. I agree. He wasn't tortured, that I do know. Also, Richard Allen fantasized about doing something like this. That came out of his own mouth. Really? His mental health checkups and a tablet. Interesting. I'm kind of torn. I need to do more. I need to do some more research into it, because I'll be the first to tell you I don't know everything about this case, but I think Richard Allen's innocent. And, even being presented with evidence, I don't know that I ever would think that he's guilty, even if somebody gave me like definitive evidence that he was. I think that case is just hard for me. But I appreciate those of you that that disagree with me and that let me know. Danny said, why send him to prison? Can county jail not keep prisoners safe? Makes no sense. I agree. The killer could still be out there, just speculation. I agree. I think solitary in prison for months when he wasn't convicted yet is torture, in my opinion. I agree with that, too. All right, y'all, I'm going to go for the day, and I appreciate y'all being here, and I appreciate all the support. I love you all so very much. If nobody has told you, you are enough, you are important, you are special, and you are loved. And I will see y'all tomorrow. What is BS, Lori Ann? I hope not anything I did. You should watch Andrea Burkhart's series. She sat in the courtroom every day and took meticulous notes. I did watch some of it when it happened. Hope y'all have a good day and y'all be safe. Oh, you're good, Michael. I love you too, Parabola. Yeah, Andrea is pretty cool. It's my daughter, yeah, so I got to go. All right, y'all. Love y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.
Listen up, I gotta tell you, there is something you should